We're back again. We're back at it again. The big One Piece retelling. Ryan, how much do you remember?
I was supposed to remember stuff.
I mean, hopefully.
I did actually have a really stupid idea that I will never do. That what we should do next week is we should swap around, and then I have to tell One Piece from memory. Dave has to tell Kingdom Hearts from memory, and Ollie has to tell the wrestling storyline from memory.
It's an awful idea, but I love it. Like it sounds like punishment, but it's good. It's good. All right. We left off with Marineford. We skipped over so many details last time because it was a 3 hour stream. you know? But all of the seven warlords, save for Blackbeard, obviously Crocodile got removed. Save for them turned up to defend the Marines. We had Boa Hancock there. She gave Luffy the key to Ace's cuffs. We skipped over that detail. We skipped over the fact Gecko Moria was there, salivating over Oars Jr., the second ancient giant. I'm not even sure we even mentioned much of Oars Jr., honestly. Like,
No, just that he rocked up and tried to grab Ace, but then got
Yeah.
blasted by
yeah, he got blasted.
someone.
Doflamingo took his leg off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Tia, you would love that idea. Stop loving his ideas. Don't give him ammo. Yeah. Marineford happened, a lot happened. But basically the underscore here is that Whitebeard died, Blackbeard took his power. Ace died in front of Luffy. Luffy's traumatized. The whole crew's still off where they're off, and Shanks showed up to stop the war after Luffy got knocked unconscious from the traumatisms. Right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we're going into the post-war arc. And, of course, what we need after such an emotional arc is more emotions. And we get flashbacks to Luffy's childhood with Ace and another lad called Sabo. Right. Luffy and Ace, small children, grew up in
Just
the East
quickly.
Blue. Go on.
Apparently, you're like a little bit quiet on stream.
I'm a
You
little
sound
bit
fine to
quiet.
us, but
I'm a little bit quiet, really? I'll gain
apparently.
myself up. I'm gained up.
Yeah, that
Right.
sounds better to me.
Okay. Right, post-war arc. Okay. So we are still in the East Blue. It's the Goa Kingdom is the name of the island that Luffy is from, and he grows up in the mountains along with Ace. Garp has entrusted both Ace and Luffy, after Luffy eats his fruit and meets Shanks, to a mountain bandit leader called Dadan. Dadan is a large, strong woman that leads a whole bunch of mountain bandit miscreants. She's the only one of the group. She keeps them all in check, but she can't fucking handle the kids. She has a bit of a soft heart, maybe that's why. But also, these are some of the worst children you could ever wish to raise. They're always out fighting, killing animals and shit to hunt and eat them and shit. Like, these are some true-ass brats. At least that's the way Ace is. And when Luffy shows up, Luffy wants to be Ace's friend super badly, and Ace is like, I don't need a fucking little brother. Ace is instead hanging out with Sabo, which is his best pal, and they're together. They are gathering cash by stealing from pirates and other miscreants, and they want to use that cash to sail out to sea one day and become pirates. Right. Any questions, Ryan?
No.
Nice and easy so far, right?
Yeah.
Luffy uncovers where their stash is hidden. He's like, hey guys, I want to be a pirate too. Let's be friends. Ace is like, this little brat is going to rat us out. Sabo's like, what the fuck are we going to do with this kid? Eventually, Luffy gets kidnapped by a bad bunch of pirates from town called the Blue Jam Pirates. And Sabo and Ace are just like, he's definitely going to tell everyone where our treasure is. We got to hide it somewhere. They hide it. They go about their business for about half a day. And then they go back to check the treasure and they're like, it hasn't been looked at. No one came back. Luffy has not told those guys. And Luffy is getting treated like a punching bag. Obviously, he's rubber already, but he's like getting tied up, hung from the roof, and then like one of the Blue Jam Pirates is putting on spiked boxing gloves and just going at him. And like, this is like a 7-year-old, you know? Sabo and Ace come to save the day. because they're like, well, Luffy didn't rat us out, and in the end, Luffy joins their wee gang. They're all best friends. They all Hank Kid come from, and they're all pals now. They hunt alligators and eat them. Okay. Okay. Time moves on. The Blue Jam Pirates continue to cause issues, but this time it's issues with the Grey Terminal. Now, Luffy grew up in the Windmill Village, which is a really, really nice little hamlet on the side of the island. But the main capital of the island of the Goa Kingdom is called YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Yeah, it looks good on this side. We did have a few drop frames from
You've been glitching out in Discord a little bit.
I've been
for
glitching
me.
out. Well, they were straight up torturing a child. They sure were. Okay, we look like we're good again now. Torturing a child. Okay, so we have the capital of the Goa Kingdom, which is called... Can't remember what its name is. Can't remember what the capital's name is. It's just... I'm just thinking the Goa Kingdom. But next...
Goa, yeah.
Next to the city is the Grey Terminal. Thanks for joining again, Goblin Ford. We've got the Grey Terminal. The Grey Terminal is essentially a trash heap. Everything that is deemed unworthy of being in the capital gets thrown into the Grey Terminal. You can consider it to be a slum if you want. The pirates are living there, thieves are living there, homeless people are there. And just mountains of trash than things that the main city didn't want. And these people are basically like living off the leftovers, you know? If you wanted a more overt allegory for the class system, you can't really get one. Alright? It's like those, you know, those pictures of like mega hotels next to like the slums down below. Like in real life. It's like one of those. And the leaders of the Goa Kingdom here have discovered that they are getting a visit from the Celestial Dragons, the rulers of the world, and they're like, we need to make this kingdom look as nice as possible. One thing we can do to solve that is literally burn down the Grey Terminal. Just set fire to it. Alright? You seeing what Oda is trying to do with his messaging, Ryan?
Yep, I'm getting a hint.
Yeah, getting a hint. It's all subtext, you know. It's like you have to read into it. In the meantime, we discover that Sabo, our new friend, is actually the child of a noble. He isn't just some ratty orphan kid that we thought he was. He was like very much an Oliver Twist type character when he turned up. But now he appears that he comes from nobility and he's a bit rich. And for a while, you know, his parents are sending out like armed guards to sort of like kidnap him and bring him back home. Eventually he does go home, but he realizes his family has basically already replaced him with an adopted child called Stelly. Stelly is like a boot-licking little shitheel, you know? And they're like, this is the sort of kid you should have always been. Look at how good Stelly is. And it's like, Stelly's a little bitch. And that's when Sabo finds out about there is a storm going on outside. Jesus Christ. That's when Sabo finds out about what's going to happen to the Grey Terminal. Maybe that's why my stream was dropping. Stelly...
Who knows, but by the time we get to the end of the stream, it might have come my way.
Yeah. Stelly eventually tells Sabo about the plans to eradicate the Grey Terminal. Sabo's like, we need to fucking do something. He's running out there, but they won't let him out of the town. And already the Blue Jam Pirates, being paid off by the nobles, are setting fire to the Grey Terminal. The Blue Jam Pirates are a bunch of fucking idiots, because they were under the impression that doing this for the nobles would make them nobility and allow them to enter the main city. No. They were going to get burned along with the rest of them, you know? Fucking idiots. You know? Got done again. When the Blue Jam Pirates realize what's happened, and likewise, Sabo's trying to get into the Grey Terminal to save people, the Ace and Luffy are stuck in the Grey Terminal because the Blue Jam Pirates have harassed them, and like realizing they're not going to be nobles anymore, they're like, well, we're going to get something out of this. We're going to find this treasure that these kids have been hiding away. And, you know, if they stick around, they're just going to die. So that's a bad idea. Chaos ensues. Sabo meets up with the individual dragon. And yes, a gust of wind happened when he appeared. So, who knows the truth? Who knows?
It could be anything. It could just be coincidence.
Anything. And around the same time, Ace and Luffy are fighting against the Blue Jam Pirates. To my memory, I think... Is Luffy knocked out? Does he get somehow incapacitated or taken away because Ace is in a bad way, and like Goldie Roger, he would never turn away from his friends when they're in trouble. So he stood in the flames, continuing to fight Blue Jam, and then he unlocked his Conqueror's Haki, even as a small 9-year-old or whatever the fuck he is. Luckily, another person shows up to help. It's Dadan, the mountain bandit woman. As it turns out, she actually is a pretty good mother to the group, and she comes in and she's like, "I will fight to save these children." The next day, we see Ace carrying Dadan out of the flames. Very good. Everyone is good. But unfortunately, Sabo has seen this and he's like, "There's no way I could possibly live in this city, in this country anymore. It makes me sick what my father and the rest of them are willing to do to these homeless people, these pirates. Makes him sick that they don't see the humanity." And so he hops in a little boat. He steals a wee shipping boat. He puts fishing boat even. He puts a little pirate flag on it with an S and some crossbones. And he's like, "I'm sailing out to sea." He sails out to sea at the same moment that the celestial dragons are coming into port. They see this little boat and they're like, "How dare this wee boat cross my path?" And they just blow it up. Just blow it up. Okay? And it's around this time that Ace and Luffy are they get Sabo's goodbye letter, where he's like, "I'm going to be a pirate. I'm going to live freely. I'm sorry I have to set off before you guys." But unfortunately, one of the mountain bandits witnessed it happen. He reports back home what happened, and Ace and Luffy are devastated, we see them swearing that they're gonna live freer than anyone and have a good life in Sabo's memory. And Ace swears to Luffy that he will never die, which is not a promise he
on the
kept.
nose.
Yeah. Flashback to the present. Luffy is just waking up on Trafalgar Law's submarine, which has been harbored in Amazon Lily. So Boa has caught up Trafalgar Law. She's like, "Come bring Luffy to my place. It'll be okay there for now." Jinbei comes too because he's on the sub. Luffy has been unconscious for several days. We have to remember that not only did he get beaten up to shit in Marineford, but the adrenaline hormones have bad after effects. The poison restoration hormones treatment he should have been out for a week after that. And he got stacked up with things he had to recover from, so he's been out for a week or whatever. He wakes up, he bursts out of the submarine, destroys it on the way out, and he's screaming, "Where the hell's Ace?" Bad news, bro. But you gotta remember, not only did he lose his brother, but before that he had his whole crew taken from him. He still doesn't know where they are or if they're okay. He's screaming, he's hysterical, and he's devastated how weak he is. How meaningless it all is. And Jinbei is luckily there to calm him down. Jinbei holds him down and asks him, "Forget about what you've lost. What is it that you still have?" Very powerful moment. And when he lets go of him, Luffy counts through on his fingers Nami, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, Chopper, Robin, Brook, Frankie. He's like, "I still have my crew." And he's like, "If nothing else, I'm going to go meet up with those guys." When they ran away from Kuma on Shibundi, Luffy said, "Meet back up in 3 days when Rayleigh's done with the coating. We'll meet back up." And now he's like, "It's been more than 3 days. I gotta go meet those guys. They're probably waiting for me." Now we're going to flash over to where the crew are. Obviously, we've already gone through it before. They're already in places which are going to be somehow beneficial to their talents. As it turns out, even the Okama Island where Sanji is has a bunch of people that are incredibly good cooks, on top of being karate kickers.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, very
Also,
convenient.
Robin is still kind of in captivity, but
Yeah. We'll update them quickly. Okay, Frankie is on an island with a big laboratory, which is formerly Vegapunk's. It's quite obvious what's going to go on there. Robin, the bridge that she's on, which is being, slaves are building it or whatever, that bridge is liberated by the Revolutionary Army. And they're like, "Would you like to come along with us for a bit?" Okay.
which is what Dragon is a part of.
Yeah,
just
Dragon's
FYI.
the chief of the Revolutionary Army.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, we might have skipped over that in the past. He is the world's most wanted
Yeah.
man for that reason. He is overthrowing governments and kings and such. Okay?
Nice.
Yeah. Um, the Nami is obviously on the Weveria Island with the old men who do weather science. That's good for her because she's a navigator, you know. Where have we got? We got Zorro. Now Zorro's one of the more interesting ones because he ended up in that like dirty ass horrible kingdom with Perona, the ghost girl from Thriller Bark. And he's trying to leave the island when he sees a figure approach him, and this figure is fresh out of Marineford. It is none other than Hawkeye Mihawk, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing on my island?" Crazy shit. Crazy shit. As we said, Sanji's with the Okama. He's learning. He's getting kicks and recipes done. Chopper is with that island with the large birds and the prehistoric people, which have a large library and good medical knowledge. Who am I skipping? Brooke. Brooke is with
Also,
people
like-
that believe in Satan. He got shown panties. He's writing music right now.
Marco like shows up on that island as well, right? Where Chopper is. Like, I don't know if that's an anime only thing, but I know he like shows up.
Can't remember. Can't recollect that one. But of course, Marco is a doctor, so anything's possible. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing someone. I don't know who. They're all doing their thing. Usopp was on the
Usopp,
Heraclean Island
yeah.
he's eating all the food that the island, you know, we thought it was a big fly trap, but with actual like hot dogs and stuff. He's getting fat from eating all the food. Yeah. And around this time, they all get newspaper headlines reporting to them that Straw Hat Luffy was in the War of the Best at Marineford, and there he watched his brother Ace die, and they're all like, Jesus Christ, what did I miss? You know? They feel like they skipped a whole chapter of this discussion series. They skipped part 3, and they're like, what the fuck? How did we get there? They're all devastated, and they're like, God damn, we need to get back to Shapandi Archipelago, see Luffy right now. But then the next newspaper comes in. The next newspaper says, Straw Hat Luffy returned to Marineford, and it's got a cover story of him, splash photo of him dropping flowers into a crater there and holding his hat over his heart. And then it's very visible that he has a big tattoo on his arm. And they're all like, what the hell is this? Okay, now we need to figure out what the hell that was. Luffy's on Amazon Lily, of course. He's just calmed down thanks to Jinbei. Trafalgar Law's there. And who shows up? The Dark King Rayleigh. There's the Pirate King's second in command. He's back. His boat capsized somewhere in a storm, which is apparently miles and miles and miles away, and he swam the rest of the way. Like, he just swam through the ocean and killed some sea kings along the way as necessary.
Yeah,
He's
fair
not a
enough.
devil fruit eater. He can just swim, you know?
Yeah.
Dark King Rayleigh says, are you sure you want to go meet your friends again? Because last time I checked, you were all getting banged the fuck out. Like, do you want to just meet up and go back to getting banged the fuck out? Like, I got a better idea. And his better idea is dragging Luffy back to Marineford, where they do an elaborate performance. The elaborate performance is Luffy rings the Oxloid's bell 16 times to signal the end of one era and the beginning of another. And then, of course, throws flowers into a crater where he holds his hat over his heart and shows the tattoo. The Oxloid's bell was a big old distraction, but more important was the tattoo. The tattoo says, thank you, Goblin Ford, 3D2Y. Any guesses as to what that stands for, Ryan?
No.
Cool. 3D2Y is 3 days, 2 years, and the 3D is crossed out because, of course, he said we'll meet back up in 3 days. It didn't work out. So now the plan is to meet back up in 2 years. Luffy is. This is a message to the crew that he could only get out via the means of newspaper, and therefore did a big distraction to get on the front page with this hidden message on his arm. So now he's meeting up with the crew in 2 years, and they are all free to basically hang out on their very convenient islands to improve themselves and get better. That's basically the whole post-war arc. We do also get
sounds good.
Yeah, we do also get finally an explanation for Haki in full. In full, thank God. Rayleigh takes Luffy to the island, which I believe is called Ruskaina. And while he's there on the island, he basically says, right, okay, you know when all this time you saw mantra and people closing their eyes and dodging attacks? That's observation hacky, right? All the times you've attacked someone, it's bounced off, or they've hit really, really hard and you don't understand why, including Garp hitting Luffy. That's armament hacky. You can armament yourself, and this basically passes through any devil fruit nonsense and delivers the pain directly to the person, you know? Including Logia fruits. This is why we saw Rayleigh able to like fend off Kizaru when no one else could. Good haki control. And finally, there is Conqueror's Haki, which we mentioned before. Conqueror's Haki, or Conqueror's Spirit, Haoshaku no Haki, is only learnable by 1 in a million people, and even fewer people are able to master it. If you have this Haki, it's like you are destined for great things. And as we've said before, after this point in the story, it's kind of like if you don't have it, you're a bit of a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the basic premise of it is just that, like, if your will is, if you have this and your will is stronger than the other people around you, like, they are forced to bend to your will, essentially. Yeah.
This is why we've seen Shanks, for example, step onto Whitebeard's ship and people just started going unconscious. He was just letting off his Conqueror's Haki freely. Again, not to hurt anyone, but to make the point that he was not to be messed with, you know? He's like, I've stepped in, show your respect, you know? And Rayleigh's like, you stay with me for 2 years, I'll teach you all I can about this shit. But the reality of it is, even though I can teach you as much as I can, it can only truly be strengthened in battle with other strong Haki users, you know? Yeah, it's an intimidation thing, yeah. Right, that is basically the post-war arc. Everyone stay in place for 2 years. The Sabo stuff is really emotional. However, it almost feels a bit strange because, like, we've just had Ace die, and then you show us another brother dying, but we didn't know about that brother. And it's like, on the one hand, it makes the impact on Luffy, the death of Ace, even more profound. But then on the other hand, it's like, you never mentioned this guy before. It's been like 500 episodes now. So this is Sabo is like a character that people are divisive on for that reason. Ollie?
I think he's great. The other thing, one other thing that happens in this arc is that, like, the Blackbeard pirates try to kidnap Bonnie, and then
she gets away somehow.
And then she gets away.
Yeah. Amnesia problem. Yeah. Oh no, we know why. Don't worry about Goblin. That's not what I'm talking about. Post-war though. I'm gonna say post-war is above Skypiea, but below Drum Island.
Yeah.
I think it is an emotional arc. I do think it is. I think it hits pretty well. Getting childhood Luffy and childhood Ace is actually really, really precious. Love to see it. I think it is tighter than Skypiea. I'm not sure the emotional impact is as high as Drum Island.
Oh yeah, Jinbei also was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Fishman Island, and you should come see me whenever you have the chance.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, return to Shibondi. We're back. 2 years later, we're all back. We're all hench. On the most interesting part about returning to Shibondi is that we get there and there are fake straw hats present. Like just dudes intimidating impersonating the straw hats even. They all look like shit. They have just like an actual fox instead of Chopper. Just a fox in a top hat. Like, you know? They look awful. They look like crap. They try and start on Usopp and Nami initially. Then they start on Luffy. All bad ideas. They're gathering a crew so they can head into the new world and cause chaos. And lots of pirates are there because they believe the Straw Hat Pirates are very, very, very powerful, especially after the Marineford War, which everyone saw Luffy, you know, fighting against the strongest men in the world, you know? We basically just get reintroduced to all the characters. I think the before and after time skip picks, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like fun. Let's go One Piece pre time skip. Go an image. Okay, here we go. So open image in new tab. All right, I'm gonna zoom out slightly for the benefit of the stream up there. Well, that's a bit terrible to see. You can see it all, can't you? Can't you, Ryan?
Well, yeah. If I focus on your stream, I can.
Right. That's the we got here Robin, Sanji, Usopp, Chopper's down here in the middle. Got Nami, Zoro, and Luffy. No Frankie on this one. Where's Frankie? We'll just pull up this image. This'll do. Open image in new tab. Right. Yeah, we can see Frankie up here. And then they either glow up or get large breasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So isn't it like a semi-canon reason that like Nami has bigger boobs is because she spent so long in the weather area and like the atmosphere is so light that her boobs got more buoyant?
It doesn't explain what happened to Robin, I'll tell you that much.
No, but that's the reason for Nami having massive boobs.
Why don't you shut the fuck up?
Zoro's lost an eye. Frankie's become massive and mechanical even further because of Vegapunk's lab. Usopp has got a six-pack now. You can't see it there. He's got long hair. Nami's got long hair. Robin's got even longer hair. She's lost
Brooke,
the fringe.
Brooke just has a hat.
Yeah, Brooke can't really change too much. I think the best thing about Brooke post-time skip is that he's become the Soul King. Of course, we left him off pre-time skip. He was writing music for a bunch of long arms and he basically just kept writing music and people loved it and he became the Soul King. He's like a pop star, rock star that tours the world. And he was actually doing a tour show in Shibondi Archipelago when he was like, right, this is actually going to be my last show. I'm off now. I'm going to go join the Straw Hat Pirates. Sanji is traumatized because he hasn't seen a woman in 2 years. Yeah, and as a result, he gets even weirder. Anytime he sees women, he
he has. He just doesn't think they're women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, he's traumatized. He's and every time he sees a girl now, he just starts acting really horrifying. Okay. Chopper's the same. You know, he put a cover over his hat, which I'm slightly offended by, but you know, we'll allow it. Right. Yeah. Basically everyone shows up. The whole crew's back. They're all very, very cool. Luffy punches a pacifista, you know, the Bartholomew Kuma robots. He punches one of those and destroys it in one hit. Zoro and Sanji also destroy one in one hit, proving that the threats of the previous time they were there are no longer as threatening. Everyone's much stronger, you know. The fake Straw Hats are routed, no problem. Rayleigh just, you know, he waves them off and he's like, go for the top. And Luffy's like, I'm really going to do it, Rayleigh. I'm really going to be the king. And then they jump in the ship, which is all good. And they head off to Fishman Island. Should say that the ship is all good because the real Bartholomew Kuma, or what was left of his cyborg body, has actually been defending the Sunny for 2 years. As it turns out, he essentially rescued the Straw Hats by sending them off that day because they couldn't have defeated Kizaru and the Marines. It was never going to happen. They were going to get kidnapped and potentially killed.
No, he sent them off to grind levels for a while.
He sent them off to grind levels for a while. Exactly that, because he saw the potential in the crew. He basically saved them, and then as punishment, the world government took his personality away. But he made a request to the government scientist Vegapunk, and he said, could you program me with the final directive of waiting and guarding the Straw Hats ship until one of them returns? And so he did. Right, so secretly the Straw Hats' greatest ally. Very, very nice. But why? Don't know. Return to Shibondi. You know, I'm going to say it's like...
Wow, that was lightning fast compared to so many we've done in the past couple
We're just
of
back.
streams.
We're heading to Fishman Island now. Return to Shibondi. Where are we throwing this one?
It's a little drawn out, you know? Like the fake Straw Hat thing didn't really need to be there.
Yeah, it just went on a bit.
What I will say is, after things having been pretty heavy for a while. It does seem nice to just have like a pretty nice,
We're just back.
fun little thing
Yeah,
where
the
it's
crew-
just like,
the
yeah,
crew's
we're just
back.
gonna have a regular adventure.
The crew's back. It just feels good.
Mm.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
this is such a kind of nothing arc that like they're currently in the process of remastering it, or they finished remastering it.
They did Fishman Island, but it also included like the Return to Shabandi arc as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically
and
from
it went
time
from
skip
like
to
50
end of
episodes down to like 20.
24.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to say it's like I
It's
don't
like
know.
worse than Jail.
You think
Better
worse
than
than
with
Jaya?
GP? Yeah.
We ain't marrying here.
I mean, it's nice. It's just nothing really happens, you know?
Goblin Ford, help me out here. Where are we putting Return to Shabandi on the list? I need your input. Tia, you as well. We need to really think hard about this one. This is serious business. This is the first post time skip arc. You gotta remember. I think recollecting it isn't as interesting as going through it for the first time, because like seeing the Straw Hats redesigns, having them reintroduced, is impactful the first time you see it. The second time, not
I get
at all.
it. I've played things that have time skips in it, and it's like, oh, it's fun to see the new character designs and stuff, you know, and what's going on with them.
Yeah. It has its moments at the top of that. All for the report sent to Mara. You don't have to worry about that. It's fun, but that's the only really interesting part. Top of it has its moments.
The thing is, it could be one episode and it would be exactly as effective as being like 30 episodes or whatever, 6 episodes.
The problem is, I think you're right, and I just don't want to admit it. I want to put it in. I'll do it again, but I think you're right, Tia. Goblin, if you don't get in like 10 seconds, it's over. We're banishing Return to Shabandi to that it has its moments tier, which is still a pretty good tier, honestly. Right, okay. Fishman Island. The ship has been coated. The ship is now descending into the sea because it can just do that now. There is some stuff in there about like the amount of air the coated bubble has in it and how that affects how it floats and sinks. Let's not worry too much about it, you know. More importantly, the crew encounter a giant kraken. Yeah, giant kraken. And then they basically tame it pretty quickly, because Luffy can just, you know, he has the intimidation factor now.
Right.
He can conquer his haki to overwhelm something's spirit, and if it's not like a, you know, intelligent being, that spirit is overwhelmed pretty easily, you know, like taming an animal. So he can just do that. The crew do get split up. Oh, Caribou, right. That is actually a more important character than I thought. So yeah. All right, Caribou is a bloke made of mud. He's like a swamp man. He can absorb people into his swamp. He was going to join the fake Straw Hats crew. Instead, he snuck onto... He followed the real Straw Hats to intimidate them. He jumped onto their boat, but then their boat got fucked off. So he was just on the Straw Hat ship alone. They just put him in a barrel. But he is actually a more important character, especially now, than he ever should have been. Right?
Fair enough.
He's a dirtbag as well. He's a true dirtbag.
Oh.
Like, not just because he's made of a swamp, but like he is like a filthy geezer, you know? Evil. Momo run away. Yeah, we didn't even mention Momo in Arlong Park though, so we're not gonna talk about Momo now. Okay. We get to Fishman Island. The crew gets split up a bit. Sunny gets fucked up a little bit. There's like a ocean current. There's a whirlpool. I should say that we do also spot at one point the Flying Dutchman. Yeah, that's down there.
Good.
Because it had to be, didn't it?
Well,
right. So we're on.
Where else would it be?
Yeah, we're on Fishman Island, and guess what? There's mermaids here. Mermaids and fishmen live on Fishman Island in peace. Sanji is undergoing recovery therapy. Because he hasn't seen the pretty girls he loves for so long. He has like been getting serious nosebleeds anytime he does see a real woman, especially now that Robin and Nami have larger breasts. Okay,
Of course,
it's a plot point. It's a plot point. It's not. I'm not mentioning it for no reason. So now he has to. To be fair, it's one of my favorite scenes where Chopper is making Sanji look at pictures of Nami and Robin, and every time he looks at a picture in the Japanese dub, he goes, "Whoa, yes, come out!" And it's fantastic. It's really
very
really good. And Chopper's like, that's his recovery therapy, all right. But of course, when he gets to the Fishman Island where the mermaids live, he's barely holding it together. He can't stop bleeding from the nose. This is a cultural thing because apparently Japanese people have thinner skin layers in the top of their nose, and therefore when they do get incredibly excited, it is far more likely to burst a blood vessel up there and just have a nosebleed.
I didn't know that was the reason for that trope.
That's a thing. That's a thing. That's why we don't really associate it with that, but that's why they do.
Yeah. This I knew that was a trope, but
Yep.
I never knew that was why.
Real reason for it, okay? And now we know why this is happening to Sanji. But like his blood, basically, the Straw Hats are hiding out on Fishman Island, and the Fisherman royalty show up. Fukaboshi, something else Boshi, and the other Mamboshi. there's 3 Boshis. They're like the princes. And when they show up, the mermaid's like, "We'll hide you from the princes. Don't worry." One of the mermaids is holding Sanji, trying to hide him, but just like holding his head into her breasts. And unfortunately, he's peaking. He's peaking, and he's going to blow a gasket. He's trying to hold it together, but he's been through things. And finally, the nosebleed erupts. It's like a fountain of blood gushing 50 feet into the air. The princes are aware, the royal family is aware, the Straw Hats are in fact here, and unfortunately Sanji loses so much blood he needs a blood transfusion to live.
All right.
See, this was plot relevant stuff.
It was.
And this is when we discover that fishmen refuse to share blood with humans.
Oh.
And this is where the story gets heavy. We need to learn about a man called Fisher Tiger. Fisher Tiger is one of the best characters in One Piece. He is known as the one that freed the slaves from Marijoa, and he is also the one that freed Boa Hancock and her 2 snake sisters, the Gorgon sisters, from Marijoa after they were originally kidnapped and tortured and all that shit. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He was a fishman that simply couldn't bear to know people being enslaved, so he crawled up the side of the Red Line 10 kilometers up with his bare hands, caused chaos, freed many men, and just escaped. When he returned to Fishman Island, they were like, "What the hell have you seen out there?" And he said, "I saw humans." And he's vexed. And the queen, it brings her to tears when he says it. Because he saw evil, he saw pain. Escalade, I don't have one of those. Yeah, so when Fisher Tiger comes back to Fishman Island, he decides to round up a crew, and he calls that crew the Sun Pirates. Some of that crew are former slaves, and as we mentioned before, the slaves have that celestial dragon hoof mark on them. They have it branded on them. And as a way of equalizing the playing field and hiding who was a slave and who wasn't, they come up with the sun. The mark of the sun we mentioned is on Hachi's head. It was also on Arlong's chest. Jinbei has it in the middle of his chest as well. And essentially, because he had freed fishman slaves from Marijoa, he said, it's not enough to cover up the symbol. They can't know which of us were slaves, which of us weren't. We all need to be on equal footing here. So he came up with the sun symbol, which they brand over the celestial dragon hoof. And even if they haven't been a slave before, they will get that branded on them. Which explains why all the Arlong pirates had a sun on them in Arlong Park back at the start. Because, yes, Arlong, Jinbei, Hachi, and many others were part of Fisher Tiger's crew. Okay? Alright. Don't worry, we're getting to Koala. One of the slaves they managed to rescue. And when they're dropping people off, and they're like, this young girl that isn't actually from us, isn't with us. She lives very far, far away. Is there any chance you could take her home? And this is like a young girl. She's like 6 years old, and she's super traumatized, and she's convinced if she cries, she'll be executed, because she's been with the celestial dragons. And Fisher Tiger does what's best for her. even though she's 6 years old, he takes her in the back, he heats up the branding iron, and he brands her with a sun, just like everyone else. Because she wouldn't be able to live on without that being covered up, without that past being erased from her, you know? But eventually she learns to laugh and she learns to cry, and they drop her off, and she says, I'm so glad I found out there's so many nice fishmen out there. And compared to the human celestial dragons, she loves fishmen now, you know? Koala's very, very important, but unfortunately when they drop her off on her island, the Marines are lying in wait. And they corner Fisher Tiger and they take him down. The fishman pirates, the other Sun pirates, barely get Fisher Tiger out of there alive, and they have him in a marine ship on the sick bay, in the sick bed, and they're like, Fisher Tiger has a very rare blood type, none of us have it. Let's raid the human blood banks, because of course humans and fishmen do actually have the same blood types, so they can share blood. And he's like, let's do it. Let's put this rare blood from the marine ship into Fisher Tiger. And he's like, you fucking keep that shit away from me. I will never accept human blood in my veins. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It's dirty. And then, you know, while he's in tears, he reveals the reason is because he was one of the slaves at Marijoa. He was a slave just like everyone else. He didn't just escape. He didn't go there to break people out as some sort of benevolent act. He just couldn't take it anymore. And he dies there. He just dies. He lets it happen because he refuses to have human blood pumping through his veins. It's emotional, Ryan. Flashback to Fishman Island. Sanji needs a blood transfusion because he can't stop getting horny. Luckily, there are 2 Okama on the island who are happy to give Sanji blood. So, he's
and Splash and Splatter. They're the worst characters.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll post a picture for Ryan's benefit.
Yeah. Okay. That's
like Persona level, like, horrible gay representation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's not great. It's not great. But of course, there is trouble brewing on Fishman Island. There's Hordy Jones. Hordy Jones is a representation of the anger of fishmen. He is all of the people that have been tortured, all the people that have been prejudiced against, and he is turning it against them. He hates humans. He is basically adopted like the Sun Pirates logo, but in the center is like a you know, the no smoking sign's a circle and the cross through. It's like one of those, except with a headless human in it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's because that's his thing. He wants humans to die. No humans. I mean, it looks to me like it says no guillotining, but the point is humans die, all right? Don't want them. So he perverts this hopeful symbol that was meant to inspire people no matter whether they were human or fishmen, and he turns it into a hate symbol, which, hey, if you want to look through history and figure out what that's in reference to, then there's a lot of examples. Hordy, you know, we can't say he's wrong, but his hatred comes from a place that's understandable. It's like, you know, when they say when you bomb a place, you're essentially creating terrorists and not killing them, you know, because if you cause destruction, then people want revenge. That's the point. There, Hordy is the product of the cruelty that is a reality in One Piece. You know, doesn't mean he's right though. And the proof is in the pudding that he is willing to sacrifice his fellow fishmen for the sake of his revenge. You know, that's not the way things should go, and that's certainly not anything that Fisher Tiger stood for. But Hordy doesn't care about Fisher Tiger as much as he cares about Arlong, and Arlong was someone who just hated humans. And he knows that the Straw Hats are the reason that the Arlong got taken down. Even Hachi saying, I was formerly with Arlong, but I wouldn't support you now, Hordy. That doesn't dissuade him. He'd happily beat the shit out of Hachi. You don't give a shit. The truth isn't as important as his intent, you know? His revenge, whatever you want to call it. he's willing to storm the royal Ryugu Palace in Fishman Island, where King Neptune lives. Luckily, at the time the Straw Hats are there, they have a fight, and as it turns out, it's very likely that Zorro could one-shot Horde. He underwater, where fishmen are the strongest for obvious reasons. Zorro wins a standoff with a weapon because Zorro's hench now. You know, it really does give the impression that our crew are sort of unstoppable at this point. Not gonna lie. They do have some. There are some shenanigans. Of course, they're underwater. There are some issues where Devil Fruit Eaters are getting fucked over or whatever the hell. Oh yeah, Van der Decken. Yeah, we'll mention him. Van der Decken is the captain of the Flying Dutchman, and he has a Devil Fruit power, which means he can't actually swim around in water. Very inconvenient. But Van der Decken's Devil Fruit power is that when he throws, he can touch someone or something, and then when he throws something with that hand, it will always hit the target. Like, it can bend around a maze, go around corners and all sorts, you know? It will always hit the target or the closest thing to it. Like, if the target is in an enclosed space and there's no way in, it's not going to hit, but it's going to hit the wall, you know? And he, once upon a time, touched the Mermaid Princess, who at the time was like 6 years old. Nay good. And he fell in love with her. Not because she was beautiful, but because he realized very early on that she had an ability. So he was like, I'm going to touch this girl and either fucking kill her or marry her one day. He never washed his hand and he wore a glove so he could always like have her mark on there. Gross geezer, honestly. You know?
It does sound it.
Yeah. He's teaming up with Horde as well. And of course, who else gets to the Mermaid Princess but Mugiwara Luffy? Straw Hat Luffy gets the Mermaid Princess. He accidentally uses her breasts as a bouncy castle because she is giant-sized. She's a really, really big fish mermaid, okay? Just massive. You know, what is it? Is it... is it Guinevere in fucking... in Dark Souls? Yeah. Basically, like, that was, you know... You can't see here, but, like, you're down here, because, like, she's massive. That's the point. She's essentially Dark Souls Guinevere.
Okay.
Luffy initially uses her breast as a bouncy castle, because he's in the dark, he doesn't realise what it is. And then he realizes that axes are getting thrown in because Van der Decken's a prick. And he's like, and she's like, I've always wanted to go for a walk through the forest, but I can't because these axes will get thrown at me. And Luffy's like, well, let's just go for a walk. It's fine. I will stop the axes if they come because Luffy's strong now. Probably a bad idea, but they do that. But you know, people assume that he's kidnapping her because, of course, you know, it's RPG logic, really, isn't it?
That's what we needed on top of all of this. A misunderstanding plot.
Yeah. And then suddenly the Straw Hats are being accused of kidnapping mermaids as well.
Great.
Not the princess, even. Unrelated to that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just additional mermaids, plural, going missing. And it must be a Straw Hats because they're the only humans around at the moment, you know? Long story short, we end up meeting Jinbei, Frankie, the ship, and we also bring Luffy and the princess, and everyone else basically just meets up in the sea forest at some point, where shortly after where Robin comes across a poneglyph that talks about a character called Joy Boy. She finds a poneglyph, and unlike the others, which have like either said history or the location of a weapon, this one is an apology letter, and she doesn't know who it's to. But a man called Joy Boy wrote an apology letter on an indestructible stone 800 years ago, and here it is. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good. When Jinbei meets up with Luffy and the crew, he's like, listen, you can't just fight Horde. He's a bit of a prick. He's causing issues. Horde's gathered like 100,000 men from the Fishman district, which again, it's a class divide district. They're the poor fishmen, you know. He's gathered up 100,000 men, and he intends to start causing chaos on Fishman Island before heading up to the surface and causing chaos elsewhere. Jinbei's like, you shouldn't fight him, but you should like become like the hero of Fishman Island. Luffy's like, I don't want to be the hero. I just want to eat meat and beat people up, honestly. And Zoro's like, that's right, I don't want to be the hero. I'm going to drink booze and beat people up. Essentially. And they make a wee plan. They eventually... There's also a fucking Arlong's sister is there at some point. It's out of order now. Arlong's sister is there, Madame Charlie, and she is also... she's like a fortune teller. She sees the future, and when she has a prophecy, it's never incorrect. And she has a prophecy that Mugiwara Luffy is going to destroy Fishman Island. Not going to happen this arc, but almost certainly is going to happen in the future at some point. It hasn't happened in the story yet, but there you go. Right. It's showdown time. Hordes with his 100,000 men. Luffy's showing up with the crew. Initially, Luffy is hiding out in the stomach of a shark. Not too important. Horde is about to execute King Neptune. That's when Luffy pops out of the shark and kicks Horde in the stomach. There is also energy steroids. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
There are also energy steroids. Yes. The energy steroids came out of the ancient Tamatebako box. And they were that was kidnapped from the royal storage, and the energy steroids, the Hordean crew have been just like nomming them down, smashing them down, because they're not that strong, but the energy steroids like multiply their health or power. Right? Luffy and the crew pop out. This is essentially just a showcase of all the crew's powers. Luffy uses Conqueror's Haki to knock out 50,000 of them first. Just instant unconscious. And then the rest of the crew just starts showing off. Like, Chopper has been able to turn into a giant monster for a while now, but he loses his senses before. Now he can control it. Usopp's got new abilities. Robin can now bloom into like giant limbs instead of just limbs. Just like giant ones. Nami has better like control over like creating lightning and storms on the fly because of her weather science and shit. Frankie is a fucking giant robot, and he has created a giant robot as well. He also has a motorcycle. He's been inventing shit.
Cool.
And you know, Jinbei's there too. That's nice. Sanji's strong. Sanji, okay, it's in the Enies Lobby arc, the CP9 guys, the CIA, they introduce a few new abilities. One of them is called Skywalk. If I had to explain it, it would be like they kick at the air and they use Haki to harden the air as they kick, allowing them to sort of like stay in the air. And like kick, almost as if they're kicking water, to sort of hover. And Sanji has learnt the Skywalk technique because he has good legs. You know? Long story short, everyone fights, everyone shows off. Luffy beats Horde pretty easily, but Vanderdecken on his deathbed froze the Noah. The Noah is a giant ark. It's Noah's Ark, yeah. But it's like giant. Like, you know, it can 2x2, Orion. All the animals and everything. 2x2. The Noah in the prophecy says that one day the fishmen people will have to leave their home and they will see the light of the sun by going up to the surface on the Noah. Currently, the only light Fishman Island gets, being on the bottom of the ocean, is light that is filtered down through the roots of the Eve tree, which come down through the red line.
All right, okay.
Yeah. But one day, they are prophesized to head to the surface, enjoy the light of the sun once and for all. But Vanderdecken throws the Noah, the big ship, at Shirahoshi. Of course, it can't stop because he always hits his mark. Luffy is determined to destroy the ship by just punching the hell out of it into pieces. That is when Shirahoshi asks him to stop because the ship has already stopped. It is actually being held by Sea Kings. Sea Kings grab onto the chains. Giant fish, which are, you know, even larger than the ship, larger than the princess. Just massive creatures. And for some reason, Shirahoshi and Luffy can hear their voices. They explain to Shirahoshi that basically she is their commander, and whenever she needs, they will show up. You know? Vanderdecken was aware of this ability, which is why he marked her so very, very long ago. Luffy can just hear the voices of them, which is funny because we get a flashback to the last person that these Sea Kings remember being able to understand them, and it happened to be Gold Roger, King of the Pirates. Oh my god, who knew? You know? Shirahoshi is now revealed to be Poseidon, one of the ancient weapons one of the very ones that Crocodile was searching for. Poseidon is a girl, and because she can control these giant sea creatures, she is like one of the things that could potentially destroy the world. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty much the end of Fishman Island. Oh, final mark. Luffy gets so banged up that he needs a blood transfusion.
Oh, right.
And who's going to give it him? Jinbei. Jinbei is gonna... He was there when Fisher Tiger refused that blood. He knows why Fishman Island won't give blood to humans. And he's like, I'm going to break the cycle. This ends here. Jinbei is gonna give his blood to Luffy. And at that moment, Luffy says, Jinbei, join my crew. To be continued. Right, that's Fishman Island. Okay. It's like round here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like Fishman Island, I do. But in the anime especially, it drags hard. It drags hard.
Yeah. As I said, they turned this arc and the previous arc from like 55 episodes down to like 24 because it just does. Both of them drag so much.
So that might be a lot more enjoyable now. But even then, there's issues like Hordy is not a memorable villain like many of the others. It is like no one wants Hordy to show up again. And he won't because the energy steroids, after they lost their effect, they turned him old. It was the pill that makes you old. They had the pill that makes you old. It drags too much. I do think what Oda is trying to get across with Jinbei, with Fisher Tiger, with Hordy, I think it's very, very smart. I don't think the arc sells it. I feel like every other arc like Oda does is like there is a powerful message there, but like even if the message weren't there, the story is so enthralling. I feel like there's a powerful message here, but I don't feel like the story is enthralling. Yeah.
Pretty much. So I'm just going to post another picture. They promised that they're going to come back and visit the giant mermaid lady, and it has this incredible thing where they pinky promise her, and Luffy like wraps his finger around like multiple times. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's very silly.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do have, thank you, Goblin Ford. They do have a celebration to celebrate the defeat of Hordy and the Straw Hat Pirates liberating the place. And at that moment, they basically give all the candy on the island to Luffy. Apparently, Fishman Island has a really good candy factory. And someone wanted that candy, and it was Big Mom, one of the Emperors of the Sea. She jumps on the phone while a couple of her crew members are visiting. And Luffy's like, I ate all the candy. It is my fault. Don't you fucking worry about it. We'll give you this treasure, and then when I get to the new world, I will bang the shit out of you. Yeah.
Big Mom was ostensibly in charge of protecting, although not really protecting, like
extorting.
Yeah, each of the four emperors are sort of like in charge of certain amounts of islands within the new world.
Before. Yeah.
Yeah. She claims she owns Fishman Island.
Okay, so Fishman Island was formerly Whitebeard's territory. One of the reasons Jinbei really, really liked Whitebeard. But after Whitebeard's death, it was pirates are going to overrun it if someone didn't claim it. But if Big Mom claims it, she's not going to do that for free. You know?
Yeah.
So they had to set up a candy factory and start making the goods for her that they had to pay up every month. Just so other pirates wouldn't get any ideas about invading and causing issues. Wasn't there to fucking sort out Hordy though, was she? You know? No. But there. So Big Mom's mad too.
Yeah. Especially because Luffy is basically like, yeah, it's fine. You don't have to worry about Big Mom. I'll take care of you guys instead.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not something that she wants to know.
Right. Okay. All right. We've only been going for an hour, Ryan. Only an hour. Hope you've been... Are you feeling the emotions?
I'm feeling some emotions.
Punk Hazard. Right, Punk Hazard is an island which is half fire and half ice. Right? Half of it is just burning constantly. The other half is frozen constantly. And yes, an aerial view looks like a Pokeball, complete with like a middle ocean. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Oda was almost certainly he was just like, I'm going to draw a Pokeball, like, for real. Almost
I'll
certainly.
post a picture in the chat.
Yeah, throw the picture.
It is just a straight Pokeball. Like, it is not subtle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It is, isn't it? Like, let's be real. Come on. Okay. All right. He draws a big Pokeball, and that's where the crew are going to go next. On the fire side, we have Luffy, Zoro, Robin, Usopp. They all jump onto the island, and they meet a giant dragon, which Zoro kills. He beheads that dragon, and also there is a pair of human severed legs on it that Luffy takes a liking to. They are still moving and all good.
Oh, right. Okay, fine.
They also are sort of talking. We'll get into it later. The rest of the crew, man, how did they even end up in Caesar's lab? I don't even remember how that happens. I don't remember how. Did they get knocked out? Did they get like kidnapped? Did they get gassed? Did they get sleeping gassed and like taken to the lab?
They get gassed, yeah.
They get gassed
because they stay behind on the sunny and then they get gassed by the people with the hazmat suits.
Yeah. And they wake up in the lab with like a severed head which has been chopped into pieces. But they rearrange it and the severed head chats to them a bit, you know. Okay, mysterious things are happening on this island. They keep coming across like centaurs, essentially like half, like upper half of the body from like the waist up is like human, and then the waist down is like it's they're actual centaurs, but like different animals, you know. One of them is an alligator centaur, and it just happens to be Brownbeard, not Blackbeard, different guy. Brownbeard is far less threatening. What is going on here? Well, we understand that the master is here somewhere. We understand that there is apparently a vicious samurai, and stuff. Another person shows up. Who shows up? Captain Smoker. We haven't mentioned him in a while. He was there on Alabasta with his Tashigi that looks like Zoro's childhood friend. They were also at the war with Whitebeard, but they were, you know, whatever. Was Brownbeard cut by Hawkins? Was that it? I don't remember. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Anyway, we're here on Punk Hazard. Where the fuck did I get to? You see, it's all coming apart now because it's like these long arcs. All right, the crew is on Punk Hazard. Smoker and Tashigi's here. Smoker and Tashigi's here, and they're investigating. And they're like, no one should be on this island. This is an island which has been like written off by the government, and formerly it was one of Vegapunk's labs. They go on the island. They knock on the big lab door, and it just gets opened. Who's there? It's Trafalgar Law, the guy that saved Luffy at the end of the war, one of the new rookies. And he's like, you shouldn't be here, Smoker. And they're like, you shouldn't be here, Trafalgar Law, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Dun, dun, dun. He's one of the 7 warlords of the sea now. How did he do that? Well, apparently after an incident called the Rocky Port Incident. Fun fact, we all assumed Rocky Port was the name of a port. It was the name of a ship. What the fuck? The Rocky Port Incident. During that incident, Trafalgar Law harvested 100 pirate hearts, still beating, and he delivered them to the Marines. And he was like, I'll trade you these 100 hearts for the title of Warlord. And they were like, yeah, okay. All right, bro. Whatever you want. You turn up somewhere with a box of 100 still beating hearts, people will do what you want.
Yeah, I'm not going to question anyone like that.
Goddamn right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know if it was explained in the last stream, like how his powers work, but we should probably.
Yeah. So he is
that.
the Surgeon of Death, and he has the Ope Ope Nomi, which is the Operation Fruit. This basically allows him to create a circle around him, like an area of effect, and within that area of effect, the bigger it is, the harder it is for him to maintain. Within that area of effect, he can control almost anything. If he slices through someone in that area of effect, it will always slice them, but it won't cut them.
It's like he can do buggy to other people.
Yeah, he can do buggy.
Like buggy can separate himself.
Yeah,
he can do buggy to other people.
But that also means he can reattach things to other things. So we've seen the centaurs recently. He can just literally attach the bottom half of an animal to them, and they'll make it work. And not
Yeah.
like
Nice.
Frankenstein
And
hogback style. It's like Lego. Just pops them on.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty neat. I'd go to him and be like, "Hey, can you make me a centaur, please?" That sounds fun.
Yep.
Well, see, he
'Cause he could
uses
undo it as well.
his powers. Yeah, he uses his powers like as a doctor. So like someone gets shot, he can just like split him in half, grab the bullet out, put him back together.
Yep.
That's
You're
pretty
done.
sick.
He can also like do that to poison as well, right? Like he
Mm.
can just like open up their veins and then take the poison out.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
But also, you know, he can make a massive. He calls it his operation room, his room. Fun fact: for years, he had an ability which is called shambles, which is like he swaps places, two things. But it was always like, what's shambles got to do with like the operation room? And it's the Japanese accent. He says chambers.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But it was for like 15 years just translated as shambles.
Chambers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very, very cool though. Very, very cool. He can swap. It's like he uses it like there's like snow in the air. He can swap the snow with like a weapon or something that someone's holding. But yeah, one of his abilities, still beating hearts, we mentioned. He can poke someone's heart out and hold it in his hand, and it'll still be working. They're all good, but he can squeeze it to fuck with them. You know.
Yeah.
Another
and
fun
he can like
one.
then give that to like a person and then be like, hey, like you have just full control over this person, like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also he can actually swap people's personalities. If he doesn't want people getting away from him, but he doesn't really want to kill them or anything, he can just do that, because if they want to go back to normal, they have to return to him to sort that out. So if Smoker and Tashigi swapped. Smoker loves to have his big jacket open while he smokes his big cigars. Tashigi, chaste woman, covers herself up, swaps the personalities. Tashigi's got the boobs out, the cigars. Suddenly Smoker's got the coat on. And he swaps the personalities of the Straw Hats too. The ones that got gassed, they are running around. They did also come across a collection of kidnapped children that are being drugged and turned into giants. Not important, I don't think. They are trying to save the drugged...
That was Whiplash there. We were going from, oh, look, the men and the women are getting their bodies swapped.
Okay,
boobs,
so
isn't it fun
they have
too?
found...
Children are being drugged.
They have found a collection of children that have been kidnapped from around the globe. Many of them have been drugged to turn into giants. They have become addicted to some drugs. Okay?
Okay.
All right. But Law sees them. He doesn't want them to get away either, so he swaps around some personalities. Chopper is in Sanji's body. Sanji is in Nami's body. That's going to go badly.
I mean, I figured, as soon as you brought it up, I was like, right, I see where this is
Nami
going.
is in Frankie's body, and Frankie is in Chopper's body. Every time Frankie talks in Chopper's body, Robin gets really angry with him, because he is like ruining the image of the perfect, cute Chopper.
Oh, I see.
Because he's a little pervert freak, you know?
Yep.
Right. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, it does. Law's ability does drain his haki very, very quickly. His energy is always at risk when he's using his chambers. Right. Okay. Other than the fact that the kids are kidnapped and drugged, there's not much to say about them, to be honest. I'm gonna be real with you. But they run off. They're all... I want to say they're good. I don't know if they're good, but they're running off. Law comes across Luffy and some of the other Straw Hats, the ones he hasn't personality flipped. He agrees to meet up with them, and he basically suggests an alliance. We're going to skip over the Yeti Cool brothers. They don't fuck it. There's two giant Yetis called Rocks and Scotch. They are just not important in the slightest. Like, they just say everything's cool. It's cool, yellow. Just that's it. All right. Law suggests an alliance to Luffy, and he says, "Let's have an alliance. We together will take down one of the four emperors, Kaido." And Luffy says, "That's fine. I want to take them all out. I just want Shanks to be last." Okay. You don't remember them at all? No one remembers Rock and Scotch. No one does. At one point, he kidnaps Nami Frankie, but other than that, what do they do? Nothing. They get banged out pretty fast and just sort of disappear. The kids, Nami takes a liking to them. She wants to return them to all to their homes. They have all been drugged. Chopper's very, very concerned because he's a wee doctor. As it turns out, it's all to blame Caesar Clown. He's the one people call the master here. Caesar Clown is a gas man. A lot like Smoker, but he can manipulate the gas to be something bad. He can also, like, suck the oxygen away from around you to fuck you up, you know? But yeah, poison gases, that's his thing. He used to work with Dr. Vegapunk, which is why he's so intelligent, or at least he has more advanced technology than most people. Yeah, big old prick. Honestly, once again, not the most interesting villain. Gonna be real with you. I think the most interesting character in this arc is Monet. Monet is like, I want to say she's a harpy, but she has like wings instead of arms. Like bird legs. Of course, it's Trafalgar Law to be blamed for that. She also has an ice ability. Very, very cool. She makes like blizzards around her. Very nice. Not like a Aokiji. It's more like snow instead of ice. Right. And then there's also Virgo. Virgo is a marine, but he's actually evil. And he actually works for Don Quixote do Flamingo. What is happening on Punk Hazard? Well, Caesar is... He is like a 4-hire scientist, and right now, most importantly, he's making a substance called SAD, which he is supplying to Don Quixote do Flamingo. Any questions, Ryan? Saw your eyebrows raise.
Just SAD.
SAD.
Just that's the acronym, huh?
Yep, it's sad.
It's very emotional, Ryan.
Ryan, it's emotional. You don't understand.
That's the disorder I get when it's hot.
Yeah. SAD, he's creating that while he's also doing some other science experiments for others. This isn't clarified till later, but we'll put it in now because it won't make sense then, or I'll forget. He's trying to make the kids giant because Big Mom wants giants in her kingdom and she can't get them. Yeah, we'll go into that more later. Probably not even today at this fucking rate. I'm not going to.
I love it. You guys in the first 2 streams, both of you said multiple times, "Oh, once we get past the time skip, all these arcs are really quick. It'll be fine."
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, abontent. I know. Don't worry. Ryan don't know nothing. I'm explaining it to him as we go, like spoiler free. You know, I'm only explaining to him like as much as he would know at that time, aside from just now when I mentioned the Big Mom wants giants thing. Okay, continuing with Punk Hazard, let's just fucking say everyone gets their just desserts. Law eventually flips everyone back into their own bodies. Monet gets cut down by Zorro after she fucked about with Tashigi. Virgo, Don Quixote member, Marine infiltrator, he's beating up Smoker, but luckily he has a team up with Law where they've cut Virgo into individual limbs and put him on a fence. Right. This also allows Law to destroy the SAD. Which episode is he on now? He ain't watched nothing. I'm just explaining to him the entire story from the start, and we're on Punk Hazard.
We're on part 4 of a big old saga.
This is part 4 of the explanation. This is gonna be. We're gonna be here for a while. Yes, Law cuts the machines in half, which create SAD, while also cutting Virgo in half, which is very, very nice. And Don Quixote do Flamingo is on the phone while this happens, and he's vexed. That's all you really need to know. He's vexed. Okay. Okay. Right. This is really fucking up Doflamingo's plans. He needs the SAD. He needs the substance so he can do other things with it. And Caesar unleashes a poison gas which has eaten an axolotl fruit. It just creates a giant axolotl he calls Smiley that is crawling through Punk Hazard and just leaving slimy poison everywhere. People are choking, people are dying. Even the people that thought Caesar Clown was like the best master ever, they're all dying because he doesn't really give a shit. Everyone's suffering. Luffy chases him down a fucking passageway and blasts him in the head with multiple attacks. I think the post events part of Punk Hazard are more interesting. Once Caesar Clown has been taken out, the Doflamingo family send over 2 crew members, Baby 5 and... God, Baby 5 and... What is the name of the guy who's like, Dusyan? I don't remember. Baby 5 and some other guy that can literally become a helicopter. Or a plane.
Oh, Nice.
He flies through the air while she's on his back. Baby 5 can transform into different weapons. So that's the most interesting thing about her. So like she'll like aim her arm, it's like transforms into a gun. She can like point her leg and it turns into a cannon or whatever, you know. Please enjoy the Dragon Ball sagas. Baby 5 is pretty cool, is what I'm trying to tell you. They show up, they're like, Straw Hats, let's take them out. The first one they see is Frankie, who is in his giant mech robot that we described before. He wrecks them. They try running. Nami and Usopp, two of the formerly weakest members of the crew, they wreck them. Baby 5 and fucking Dacian get fucking destroyed, bro. And just to add insult to injury, Law cuts their heads off, puts them on a raft, and sails it off to sea. And leaves their bodies on Punk Hazard. Yeah.
A dickhead move.
Yeah, but they were being dickheads.
Yeah.
It's at this point the Straw Hats and Law leave Punk Hazard, and they leave behind Tashigi, Smoker, and also the children who Tashigi is going to take care of. Nami trusts Tashigi to make sure those children go home. You know? They might be Marines, but they're only evil to pirates, not normal people, usually. Right. When they all leave, a certain man is on his way, Don Quixote do Flamingo, and he has no time to waste. He doesn't have a flight ability. However, we had said before, he has a string power. Sharp strings, cut things apart, but you can also attach those strings to like clouds and then glide through the air via just like attaching strings to clouds. It doesn't even look like he's doing like a Spider-Man thing. It's almost like he's just floating because he does it so gently, you know? But he's speeding towards Punk Hazard when he sees a raft at sea. He comes down to the raft. It's the heads of Baby 5 and Dacian. And there's a phone there, and it's Law on the phone. And Law's like, if you want things to work out for you now, son, you should hand in your title as one of the 7 warlords. And he's like, Law, don't you fuck with me. And Law hangs up, and he's like, takes the heads, goes back to Punk Hazard, throws the heads back on their bodies, lands. The first man he sees is Smoker. He's like, Smoker, if I have to bang you out, geezer, I will. I will. I swear to God. He's already like, as soon as he lands, Conqueror's hack, he knocks out half the soldiers Smoker's brought. Smoker's like, don't you dare touch my mans. But unfortunately, Smoker, he's already been banged by Virgo. He ain't gonna take down Doflamingo. Doflamingo handles Smoker so fast, it's embarrassing. He sits atop his body, has his like leg crossed and everything. Just grabs him by the neck. He's like, brother, I'm gonna fucking, you know? And just as he's about to, a man comes behind him and goes, ara, ara. Ara, ara. And that ara, ara comes from former Navy Admiral Iceman Aokiji. And Aokiji just says, sorry, I need you to step off him. He's my friend. This is, I should have given you this explanation already, but it's more interesting here, I think. The reason Punk Hazard is half fire and half ice is because the 2 admirals, Akainu, the one that killed Ace, and Aokiji, the one that was in Robin's backstory, they had a war to see who would be the new fleet admiral between them and after Sengoku decided to step down after the Marineford War. When you awaken a devil fruit, it doesn't just affect your body, it affects the things around you, the floor, buildings, anything. And as a result, the clash of the Magma Man and the Ice Man permanently altered the halves of the islands to be half on fire, half frozen constantly. This is their old battlefield. Aokiji's also missing a leg, but he replaces it with ice. So you don't really notice at first. It's pretty cool. Yeah. They're cool. They're really cool. Hold on. Amazon Lily to Marineford absolute peak, but Fishman and Punk Hazard were as boring as Skype here, and Thriller Bark Dressrosa really so slow paced. Zara was floating in the sky for 2 episodes. He kind of was. He kind of was. Yeah. That bit, I've said it before, that bit of Dressrosa, like where the toys turn into humans again, and then Doflamingo and Pika move the castle to the other side of the island. That bit is the bad bit. Anyway, we're on Punk Hazard. Aokiji showing up scares the shit out of Doflamingo. Doflamingo would never admit it, but he's not willing to fight. Doflamingo, as he's walking away, is like, who the fuck are you even affiliated with anymore? And he's like, I ain't telling you that. And he ain't telling him that because we've heard rumors that Aokiji is affiliated with Blackbeard now. That's right. The big evil guy. Aokiji might be with him now, despite Aokiji seeming to be the most reasonable of the Marines. Aside from Smoker. But, you know, what can you do? That is a really amazing end to the arc. And honestly, Doflamingo showing up, fighting Smoker, and then seeing Aokiji, way more interesting than anything that happened with Caesar Clown. In fact, Caesar Clown is less interesting than Monet. He's less interesting than Virgo. I don't know, man. This is a weird arc to rank. This is a weird arc to rank. Punk Hazard. I'm gonna put it at the top of it. Has its moments. I do think it's better than Fishman Island. I do think it's better than Return to Shabandi, but it's still not that good. Someone in the chat did say it. You know, thriller back to Dressrosa, slow paced. No, wait, yeah, no, yeah. Basically, I feel like everything pre-time skip is really super amazing at this point. Just the early post-time skip stuff drops the ball quite a bit. I'll put it under Fishman, but you do you. You'd put it under Fishman.
Yeah.
I could.
I don't know. It's one of those ones that like it sets up a lot of stuff. Like, fucking what's his name? Kinemon is there. Like, he's present.
Kinemon's present. Sorry, we forgot about Kinemon. I did mention that we met a pair of legs. I helped patch the dragon, and also a severed head. Nami Sanji also dives into a lake to get the torso, and it turns into one complete samurai called Kinemon. This is pretty important, actually. And they do save Kinemon's child, who is a pink dragon called Momonosuke. Luffy ends up finding him and decides not to eat him.
Yeah, no, we did struggle through watching this. It's a difficult watch. Like, it's not.
I think it's a better watch than Fishman Island, though.
Fishman Island has like stronger characters, though. Like, this is the thing, right? Is that like anywhere Jinbei is like always going to be better than
Jinbei is amazing.
Like,
true. But
like Caesar Clown is kind of just like a shit antagonist as well. Law is really cool. I think
both arcs have shit antagonists, but the beauty of Punk Hazard is there are like 3 of them. It's like they make up for each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It does have its moments. I would say like at best it's equal to Fishman Island. Yeah, Law just isn't hot enough to save the arc. Law is very cool, but like he's not enough.
He is that hot. Right. Alright. I'm gonna pretend I didn't read any of that. Listen, I'm leaving it there for now. I just alright. Dressrosa. This is where the Alliance of Law is starting to come to the fore. So we destroyed the SAD back on Punk Hazard, which Doflamingo was using to supply supplies to Kaido. We now know that the SAD was a fluid that creates artificial devil fruits. He can only create zone fruits, which transform you into an animal of some kind, but he's creating artificial devil fruits, and this is allowing Kaido, who's also known as 100 Beasts Kaido, to create an army of beasts. He is called the captain of the Beast Pirates for a reason. Does all that make sense to you? With the SAD being cut off, he can't flex that shit anymore, and Doflamingo is pretty mad about it. They get to Dressrosa, and Dressrosa is a beautiful island that is very Spanish themed. God, we're gonna have to skip over so much bullshit. I'm just sorry, I'm just thinking about all the setup this arc does. All right, Sanji
Yeah.
meets a woman called Viola. Viola can read his fucking mind, and she may also be an agent for the Doflamingo pirates. She reads his mind and is so disgusted by the perverted thoughts that she sees, she just can't believe it. However, Sanji says, I saw your tears, and I always believe a woman that's crying. I will always believe a woman that's crying, which perhaps not the best, not
No,
for
I'm
all
not-
of life.
That seems like a bit
But-
of a red flag. If I'm honest.
But you mean Sanji's a walking red flag? Have you not heard what we said about him? Yeah. While he's doing that, we have the crew go to a gambling hall. There are frozen giants on Punk Hazard. It's really hard to condense all the info, bro. The rest of the crew go to a gambling hall where they meet a blind old man. The blind old man's winning fucking amazingly. When suddenly the dealer says, "Oh, you lost that one," and the blind old man's like, "Oh, really? Shit!" But he didn't. You know, of course, the dealer's been a prick. So Luffy says, "No, old man, you won that. You won that, old man." You know, because Luffy's a good lad. The old man cuts the dealers and the miscreants in the gambling hall, and they become heavy. They continue to become heavy. They become so heavy that the floorboards break apart and they like crash to the floor, like underground, like unbearably heavy until there's just a massive hole in the middle of the floor. And this is where we discover that this man has like a gravity fruit of some description. He cut them and just added weight to them until they crashed down to earth, you know? And then when he leaves the gambling hall, some Marines approach him and they say, "Your coat, sir." And that's when they put on an admiral jacket. Yes, this is one of the new admirals of the Navy now that Aokiji's left and Akainu got promoted. This is Admiral Fujitora, the Purple Tiger. And he's a swordsman that just creates gravity. Any questions on that?
No,
Cool.
not at this point.
Cool. As it turns out, the woman that cried in front of Sanji, no, she's a bad girl, but also her tears were telling the truth. She's in trouble. Sanji knows it. They're gonna help. Fuck me. At the same time, Luffy gets thrown into the Colosseum. Why is Luffy in the Colosseum? Because the prize is a devil fruit. What devil fruit would Luffy risk his life for, Ryan? Yeah, that's right. He would risk his life with the flare fruit, the one that belonged to Ace.
Oh, I see. Right, okay. That makes sense.
He refuses to let anyone else have this fruit. Nomi. Excuse me. And so he enters the competition in hopes of winning it. I'm not even going to bother introducing most of the people in the Colosseum. There's shitloads of them. I'm gonna mention them as they become relevant. Bartolomeo is a One Piece fan. Bartolomeo is a character in it, and he loves the Straw Hats. He's been following their adventures since Logtown, and he's like, this is the best crew ever. I love these guys. He's just a One Piece fan. All right? It's a One Piece fan insert. It's very, very good. Has some good funny moments. He cries whenever the crew talks to him.
You can also create barriers.
He can also create barriers. He crosses his fingers like that, and an indestructible barrier can appear in front of him. Very, very useful. He also meets Rebecca. Rebecca is like a 16-year-old girl that is basically wearing a chainmail bikini. I'm going to be real with you. It's basically a chainmail bikini. She has been locked in the Colosseum, warring for years upon years now, but she has not lost a single match despite killing 0 people. She has incredibly good haki, observation haki, and it allows her to dodge every attack and counter in a way that just trips people up and gets them out of the ring. Yeah.
Nice.
So 0 losses, many, many wins. World government used the world military draft to recruit new admiral. I know that, but then we'd have to explain Vice Admiral Dahl. We'd have to explain the little guy that looks like Columbo. We can't do it all. I don't know the other guy's name. Right. We're in the Colosseum. There's 4 blocks, A blocks, B block, C block, and it's battle royales, and then the winners of those blocks go into a final fight. And then in the final fight, one of them can grab the fruit. After the first like 4 bouts, we meet a whole bunch of characters. There's a big giant there. There's an old man that got beat by Garp, Don Chinjiao, and he wants revenge because he recognizes Luffy. He goes after Luffy in the competition. They have like a hacky clash and shit. It's very, very cool at the time. But more importantly, we get through the first round of bouts, and Luffy sees some shit happen outside. While all this has been going down, Law has met up with Doflamingo to hand over Caesar in return for Caesar abandoning the Warlord title. Turns out he didn't abandon the Warlord title, but he has friends in such high places that they printed a fake newspaper to say that he did rescind the Warlord title. Like, how did he control the news media? Some Jeffrey Epstein shit, man. Right. Keep going. And then, when he realized everything was going wrong, Law just gets the shit kicked out of him. Shenanigans happen. Most of the crew have to just leave the island on the Thousand Sunny. So what? Chopper's on the ship. Brook, Nami, Sanji. They're all just gone. They're not even here anymore. They've got to go elsewhere because there are too many characters in the fucking arc to deal with. And Oda was like, I got to get rid of half of them right now. He gets rid of half of them. Doflamingo beats the shit out of Law, drags Law in front of the Colosseum, and then guns him down. Throws him on the floor. Like, pop, 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 pop. You know? Just guns him down because he's pissed him off too much. Cavendish, we're not even going to bother talking about Cavendish. Just guns down Law in front of the Colosseum. Luffy's looking out the window, but he can't get out because the bars are like sea stone. He's like, no, Law, ah! Fucking Fujitora's there, allowing Doflamingo to just blast up Law and shit. Chaos is ensuing, and Luffy's like, I need to get out of this goddamn Colosseum now, but I really need to win that goddamn fruit. It's fucking chaos. And then someone comes up behind him and says, I will get that fruit for you, Mugiwara Luffy. And who is it, Ryan? Who is the one? Who is the only person that Luffy would accept eating the fruit?
Jinbei?
I like the guess.
That would be sick.
Yeah, great. I mean, he's a fish man, so not being able to swim for him would be really uncomfortable, but he wouldn't die underwater at least. It's Sabo. The brother that grew up with them that they thought was dead, Sabo is alive.
Okay.
We mentioned we saw Dragon. Dragon saved Sabo. Sabo is the second in command of the Revolutionary Army. He's back. He's like, me, you, and Ace, we're the Free Brothers, goddammit. We've always been the Free Brothers. Forget about the first half of the story where my name wasn't mentioned. We've always been the Free Brothers. That's what he said. Word for word.
Bro really just poochied himself into the story.
That's goddamn right.
He really did.
That's goddamn right. And Luffy's crying. He's like, my fucking brother is alive after all. Not that one, but this one. He's alive. Yes, you can get the fucking fruit. And Luffy at this point is disguised as Master Roshi out of Dragon Ball. He takes off his fake beard and helmet and gives that to Sabo. You're now Lucy. Not Luffy, Lucy. That's the name he used for the competition. He needed a fake name. So Lucy was, of course, gonna... To be fair, I think they were like, Luffy, make sure to enter the competition with your fake name. And he was already halfway through writing Luffy. And he was like, shit, Lucy. We're not going to talk about it's not even Columbus. His name is Orlumbus. And we're not talking about it.
I was going to say, does that even work in Japanese characters if he's writing it?
I don't know. I really don't. They probably wrote it in English characters, to be fair. There's quite a bit of that in One Piece.
Okay.
Right. So Luffy escapes, and he's got to go fucking get Law. At least Luffy's happy that knowing the fruit is in safe hands. There has been something we've completely neglected to talk about in Dressrosa, though, and we start discovering this once people get dropped. Once people get eliminated from the Colosseum competition. Suleiman, don't even start. Like, what are you going to mention next? Abdullah and Jeet? Get out of here. Right. God, Suleiman doesn't even become a Grand Fleet member, man. I swear to God. Anyway, once everyone gets eliminated from the competition, they get like taken backstage to get recovered and shit. They lie down on like an operating table. to get checked for injuries, and they get dropped through the table into an underground chamber. This is where Sugar meets them. Sugar is a little girl who has a devil fruit that allows her to touch you and turn you into a toy. To make things worse, when she does this, she can imply certain contracts. This includes all of the people you've ever known in your life have forgotten that you exist. You cannot tell people you are a toy. You cannot tell people what happened. Like, you've just got to live your life as a toy. And if you start acting up, they'll kill you. So Dressrosa is filled with animate toys. We meet one toy called the Toy Soldier. He was the first toy created, and she forgot to put the contract on him that prevented him from speaking the truth. You know?
Oh, right. Okay.
And the Toy Soldier like goes up to like a toy dog in the street and with Frankie, and he's like, "Toy dog, who are you to that child?" He's like, "I am that child's father. They'll never know. I've been hanging out with this family for years. They don't know I'm the real dad." And like that's the story of most of the toys. They want to be close to their families, so they just have to act like a goofy fucking clown in order to be close to their loved ones. And Sugar is like a member of the Don Quixote family, and this is their method of control, essentially. Just anyone that dissents, pop, you're gone. Everyone's forgotten you now, you know? But this one Toy Soldier, all these years, has been the default is the forgetting part. Yeah, everyone forgets about the Toy Soldier and who he used to be. But the Toy Soldier was the first one created, and he's like planning a revolution, essentially. And to do that, he's teamed up with the Tontata, which are it's a race of dwarf people. They're about this big. For some reason, they're like 4 times stronger than your average human, but because they're so small, they can ride big insects.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And the Toy Soldier acts as like their army commander. Unfortunately, they are very, very naive, but they are very, very nice. And I think one of the nicer callbacks in this arc is the fact that Tontatas on their island of Green Bit have a statue to Mont Blanc Noland. Yes, Noland the liar from Jaya and Skypiea. He at some point did make it all the way to Dressrosa and Green Bit, and at some point he was the hero of the Tontata people at that point. When Usopp recognizes the statue of Mont Blanc Noland, he's like, "Oh, that's my ancestor," because he's a liar. Usopp's a wee liar. And so they call him Usaland instead of Mont Blanc, like no land. They call him Usaland, and they start believing in Usopp, which is good because it's a good thing Usopp's a good guy. But anyway, Robin, Frankie, Usopp, they are ride or die for the Toy Soldier and the little people. And honestly, all they want is to kill Doflamingo so they can like live freely on their island again. And the crew are happy with that too, you know. There is also like a kidnapped dwarf princess, but again, not too important. Not too important. We got to skip over things here. Sugar gets knocked out by an operation by Usopp, Robin, Frankie, etc. She gets knocked out, and when someone's like forcefully knocked out, not just going to sleep, that deactivates their powers. So every toy on the island suddenly is back to being human. You know, in the streets, women are like, "Oh my god, my husband's back. Oh shit, what am I going to tell my new boyfriend?" You know, because life goes on after you get turned into a toy. Life goes on. You know,
well, especially if you don't remember that they were your husband in the first place.
Yeah, but everywhere children are essentially like re-meeting their fathers for what feels like the first time, you know. People are being put back into reality. It's beautiful. Most importantly, the Toy Soldier turns out to be, again, we've skipped over a lot, turns out to be Rebecca's father from the chainmail bikini girl. Rebecca's father, and also the greatest gladiator in the history of the Colosseum, Kyros, a giant of a man, and he just happens to be outside of Doflamingo's window when he gets transformed back into a human, and he launches in there. He has one leg. He launches in there and just cuts off Doflamingo's head clean, just out of nowhere. Even Luffy was there like, shit, I thought I was going to do that. Unfortunately, Doflamingo's too smart. Doflamingo's a string man, and he made a string clone. Okay. And now that everything is out now, the Merinomi's been kidnapped by Sabo. Every toy has been turned back to normal. Even the people that were in the Colosseum and got turned to toys, they're all back. The truth is out. Everyone hates Doflamingo. And Doflamingo's like, right then, you motherfuckers want me? And that's when he moves his castle with Pika's help. Pika is one of his generals. He can move rocks and earth. Pika just picks up the entire mountain the castle is on, moves it to the other side of the island. And then Doflamingo puts in place the bird cage, the Torikage. And this is strings shot up into the air, which then like coat the entire island in like a bird cage, a wireframe bird cage. But these strings are like slowly constricting until it'll just kill everyone. And the strings also happen to be like razor sharp.
Oh.
The only thing they won't cut through is like sea stone that we've mentioned before. Yeah. Okay. God, it's hard work. This is hard work for the record, right? Anything I'm missing, Ollie? Before we go on, this is one of the longest arcs in all of One Piece.
I mean, there's like little bits and pieces,
Yeah.
but like,
Anything major?
everyone gets their bounties increased.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah,
I
the
don't
end.
know.
The factory is made of sea stone, and that does not get cut by the birdcage. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll skip to it. Basically, the guys in the Colosseum, pirates from all over the world, came to compete for that Muranomi. They are all fighting. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Takalu. When Usopp takes down Sugar, a giant picks up Usopp and says, "This is our champion. This man right here. This is God Usopp." And the whole crowd just starts chanting, "God Usopp! God Usopp!" And they think he's God. That lasts for about 10 minutes, because then Doflamingo says, "If you bring me this man's head, I'll give you 500 million. And then they no longer believe in God Usopp. You know?
Oh, Usopp also gets the ability to use Haki, right?
He does. It's coming up.
Yeah.
Kanjuro, yeah. Kiyomon is searching for one of his samurai friends, Kanjuro. He finds him in the bottom of the pit underneath the Colosseum where everyone was getting thrown. That is an important one, Goblin Ford. But I guess we're just blitzing over things. All right, a lot of the guys from the Colosseum fight a lot of Doflamingo's crew along the way. Baby Five, we mentioned before, can transform into a weapon. She gets actually like married off to one of the guys. Not super important, but I thought I'd throw it out there because I'm glad she has a happy ending. We really need to talk about the history of Dressrosa, unfortunately. Doflamingo, the reason he has friends in high places that allowed him to forge the newspapers and shit, the news and that, is because he's actually a former Celestial Dragon, Ryan. As we mentioned before, the Celestial Dragons are kings of countries that formed the world government and then ascended to Marijoa. Doflamingo is actually his family, the Doflamingo family. Was it the Don Quixote family? It's Don Quixote, isn't it? His country was Dressrosa. That was his family's country 800 years ago, and he got through some shenanigans. He left the Lahoney land, and he wanted it back. So he went up to the king of Dressrosa, and he was like, "Pay me for this country, and I'll leave you alone. Just hundreds of millions, like $1 billion or some shit." And the king was like, "We don't have that money." He was like, "Go get it from the people. Ask the people for it. Get me my money, and I'll leave." So the king does just that. And the people are like, "This king has always been so good to us. There's no way he'd do us wrong now. Get the money out of your house. Give it to the king. He'll do us right." And as they do that, Doflamingo uses his string powers to puppeteer the king. And the king starts riding a horse through the streets, killing people as they bring their money out to him. And then Doflamingo starts puppeteering all of the king's soldiers that know the truth. And yeah, it's a massacre. The soldiers and the king of Dressrosa start killing the people. And that's when Doflamingo and his crew turn up as the heroes. And that's how he takes control of the kingdom. It's essentially like, what if Crocodile's plans all came to fruition? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now we have to go into Doflamingo's backstory. Doflamingo, former Celestial Dragon. His father, Don Quixote Homing, I believe. He was a benevolent man, and he was like, "We are human, just as the people on the surface are." And all the other Celestials like, "You son of a bitch, you can't say that. How dare you say I'm human? You think I'm like those people? Like the slaves?" You know? They set him up anyway with a nice mansion on the surface, nice place, here you are no longer a celestial dragon. And the most interesting part of this is that we discover that they have celestial dragon ID chips. Why do they ID chips? Not even answered. They are just asked to give back the ID chips. How much technology do they have? We don't know still. Fuck it hell.
Who knew fucking Keir Starmer was getting his ideas from One Piece?
You know what I mean? Okay, so they get sent to the Earth, and Homing is unfortunately too naive. He goes to the village market, and the people say, "Hey, have you just moved in here?" He's like, "Yep, I just moved in from Marijoa." And they're like, "From where?" He's like, "Yeah, I just moved in from, from the Holy Land." And they were like, "You a celestial dragon?" That same night, his house is being burnt down, and he and his kids are being tied to the side of it. Like, people are surrounding the house, firing arrows at him being tied to the wall.
I know it wasn't, but I like to imagine that was literally just a smash cut.
It was close to it, man.
It was close to it, yeah.
But the thing is, the people are screaming like, "My son was pierced by 16 bullets for stepping in the celestial dragon's path," and stuff like that. They're saying an arrow like killed my son through the neck because he looked at the ship wrong or some shit. These people are traumatized because of the dominance of Celestials. The billionaire class is torturing the working class, Ryan. I don't know if the fucking messaging is clear enough. No, and Doflamingo is being tied to this burning building, and he just declares that he will kill them all. He's gonna kill every single motherfucker. Because unlike his father, Doflamingo came down from the Holy Land, and he was like, "Where the hell are all of our slaves?" He was fucked from the start, Where the hell are all of our slaves, Dad? And he blames his father for everything. "You're the reason we don't have slaves. You're the reason we left the Holy Land. You're the reason Mother's dead. You're the reason we're on the run now." He unlocks Conqueror's Haki, knocks out all the people that are chasing him down, trying to kill him, and unfortunately encounters Trebol, one of the Don Quixote family members. Trebol gives Dofi a gun and a fruit. The string fruit, and Dofi takes that gun, points at his dad's head, just bow, blats him, takes his head to Marijoa and says, "Let me back in, I fucking killed my dad." And they're like, "No, you ain't coming in here, son. No, that's a bit much for us, the whole severed head thing. No. And as a result, Doflamingo's like, "Right, if you don't let me back in, I'm just gonna fucking destroy the world, I swear to God." Thus the crazy Doflamingo we have today. Alright? One of the interesting side effects is that just to prove that Doflamingo is actually evil, like, I've made them all sound evil. To prove Doflamingo is actually evil, those people were shouting at him like, "My son was killed by 16 bullets for stepping in the Celestial Dragon's path." And Doflamingo names his attacks things like 16 holy bullets. Because he's evil. Everyone else, right, a little evil. Dofi's evil. Like, he takes pleasure in the pain of the people. Like, true son of a bitch, and probably the best antagonist One Piece has had, to be honest. Like, yeah, real piece of shit. Doflamingo's brother, however, is a bit more like his dad. And actually is the reason why Law is not so fucked up. I'm gonna have to just skip over the details now, Goblin Ford, but basically, Law's backstory. Shit! Law came from a town called Whitetown. Whitetown has was a mining town. They mined up, what was it called? White lead. White lead was very, very precious, but if you inhaled it, you were basically gonna die dead.
It's asbestos.
Yeah, it's asbestos. He gets white lead poisoning, which turns his skin pale white. And when the neighboring governments find out about what's happening in the town of Flevance, is what it's called, they were like, "You know what? That shit looks contagious. Let's kill them all." It wasn't contagious. That wasn't the point. Law is, he's training under a very, very, very lovely father, doctor. He has a lovely sister. They, all of them dead. All of them dead. All dead. All dead. Okay? All of them dead. Law is like, he goes to suicide bomb Doflamingo, essentially, is what he tries to do when he meets Doflamingo. And Doflamingo's like, this kid is just fucked up enough to be useful to me. And he sort of, he intends to groom Law to essentially give him the immortality surgery. The one thing the Oppi Oppi Nomi can do is give someone immortality, but it takes away the life of the surgeon. Dofi was like, if I groom him to essentially give me immortal life, we are sorted, And that's where Corazon, Doflamingo's brother, comes in, sees what Dofi is trying to do to this like tortured child, and he's like, no, I'm going to help you. Side note, Trafalgar Law's full name turns out to be Trafalgar D. Water Law. It's a reference to the Battle of Trafalgar and the Battle of Waterloo. Waterloo, there we go. But most importantly is the D. And Corazon informs Law of the thing that Doflamingo believes, that the D is the sworn enemy of the gods. The gods, of course, being the celestial dragons. And even though Dofi has left the Holy Land, he believes that firmly. Right, we're all caught up. Luffy and Law eventually catch up to Doflamingo. Usopp does unlock observation haki along the way. Good for him. He has to knock out Sugar a second time from like a mile away by shooting his slingshot. Very, very good. Law, Luffy, Doflamingo, Treyball's there as well. Pika does get cut down by Zoro, but unless you see it, it's not as cool. And yeah, fucking the battle goes down with Law and Luffy. Law gets fucked up a lot, and just as he's about to get fully killed, Luffy stops it. He transforms into Gear 4th, where he combines the power of Gear 2nd, that is his blood pumping, and he combines his like inflation abilities from Gear 3rd with his new haki abilities to create like a giant warrior body that he can just fucking swing punches. He tells us he designed this warrior body for fighting against Rayleigh, because also where Rayleigh trained Luffy, it was filled with like giant animals, and he was fighting them.
Gotcha.
Right. He basically just kicks the shit out of Dofi from that point on. There is a long period in between where Sabo kills a member of Blackbeard's crew. Nearly. The people of Dressrosa have to like help Luffy get away from Doflamingo while he's recovering haki for a bit. But most importantly, fucking Luffy just like plonks him with a massive punch, takes him down. The birdcage disappears when he finally gets fully knocked out. The Marines don't help Doflamingo at all. Dressrosa is saved, and the power is given back to King Riku, the original king. Jesus fucking Christ. There was a lot of shit in that one. And I've skipped an unbelievable amount. Oh my god. Dressrosa is, as of right now, I'm leaning towards better than your fave series. It won't let me put there. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to put that there and that there. There we go. All right, logic. I do think the anime pacing in this arc, especially if you are watching the anime and you haven't experienced the manga, and you even if you're going through the filler and shit, Dressrosa is where it becomes kind of unbearable. The pacing does become kind of unbearable, but also the character stories, the backstories. You see, Law is that cool. He is that cool. He really is. Law's that cool. Doflamingo, genuinely one of the best antagonists because of how terribly evil he is. It does become too much with the extended Doflamingo family. I didn't even mention Mac Vice, Lao G, fucking. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. Still don't know the name of the Dusian guy. It's.
Oh, that was this arc. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, it was the end of the last arc, but he's still in this arc
right.
because it was like it's a direct continuation. Kinemon and Momonosuke are completely pointless this arc. They're just there. Okay, so Tia would have put it at the top. This means something to me. Really, above Alabaster? I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that personally. I do love this. I do think Dressrosa is like a fantastic arc, but like this was officially the point where I felt like I was an anime only watcher until this point, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. It was killing me. Ollie?
I do not think so fondly of it. I think the problem with this arc is that, like, you know, in like Dragon Ball Z, where like nothing really happens, but like characters are charging up attacks for like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
That is this arc, and that just happens like 40 times in a row in this arc. Like nothing really happens.
Yeah.
Like the things that should take a single episode are stretched so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's exhausting to watch.
But then on the other hand, we got Sabo, we got Fujitora. I even got to mention Ryan. Fujitora's gravity powers. He slashes the air at one point, and that just summons a meteor from space to come crashing down at that location.
And see, this is the thing, right? Is that like in Dragon Ball Z, when like those big fights are happening and it's all like drawn out and stuff, yeah, they are really cool moments. But is it worth the build up? And the answer is no. And I think Dressrosa suffers from this tremendously.
I'm gonna employ a wrestling metaphor here, where it's like when you watch some of these like John Cena. When you watch a John Cena match, right? The last like 10 minutes, 5 minutes of the match, where it's all like big moves and you know the finish is coming, and it's like, oh, that shit's all really fun and exciting. But like the half hour you have to watch to get to that point is the most boring shit you've ever seen.
Yeah. And that that's Dressrosa, yeah. I don't know. It went for 2.5 years. This arc, both in the manga and the anime.
I watched it weekly that entire time.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
repetitive.
That was the point where, like, towards the end, I just like stopped and I was like, I'll just catch up with Tia later. Like it's so long. I don't know. It's not the longest. Because the longest is yet to come. But it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you mean the longest is yet to come?
It is one of the longest though, and we skipped over a lot of bits. Hey, listen, the thing is, Dressrosa, I'm just going to mention 2 characters right here. Bobby Funk, Kelly Funk. What did they do? Ali, tell me what they did.
I don't know.
Would anyone in the chat like to tell me what Bobby and Kelly Funk did? Even if you can remember who they are, that'd be great. All right? Because I remember, and I didn't mention them for a reason. I'm telling you, this arc just has too much. I want to say that, like, Oda, yeah, the vest, very good, Goblin. I want to say Oda, like, he really let himself do as much as he wanted this arc, but then he realized how much time it would take to do everything he wanted. We didn't even mention motherfucking Baby Man. Baby Man. Can't even remember his name. What's his name, Molly?
The
hard-boiled man.
Know. Yeah.
Hard-boiled friggin' Mr. Someone in the chat help us out here. Baby Man. Why am I forgetting this? That's crazy.
Boss Baby. That's it. That's what you're thinking of.
Lost Baby?
It's the Boss Baby.
Boss Baby.
Boss Baby. Right, of course. Right, Boss Baby. He's one of the Doflamingo family members. In his backstory, he meets a woman called Russian. Why do I remember the woman's name? They have a baby called Gimlet. Why do I remember the baby's name? I don't remember his name. Russian and Gimlet is his family. And he tells Russian he works for the bank. They get married, they have the baby, he's away one day, working being an actual pirate. And when he gets home, she's like, I rang the bank, they said you don't work here, and I was ringing you at the bank because Gimlet is fucking dead. Is it his fault that Gimlet, his baby, died? No. But the wife was kind of blaming him at that point. She runs out into the Signor Pink. Thank you so much, Goblin Ford. Signor Pink. God damn. Russian is so upset she runs out into the rain one night And she gets basically like fucking crazy pneumonia that turns her brain dead. I don't even know how to explain that. Like, and he visits her in the hospital, and she has like a blank expression where she can't even smile. And he keeps visiting her, keeps coming back with flowers, and she won't smile. And then one day he just sees an old baby's bonnet, like the baby used to wear, and he walks into the hospital and goes, "Hey, look, I look like the baby, right?" And for a moment, he's like, "What the fuck am I doing? Like, have I gone crazy?" He's like, "I'm so sorry. I clearly need to sort myself out." And then he looks over at Russian, and she's smiling. And suddenly, he just keeps coming back to the hospital day after day, wearing a more elaborate baby outfit with the pacifier and the bonnet and a diaper with his legs out. Just looks ridiculous. But every time he does it, she smiles a bit. And he just keeps doing it.
So it's a kink thing.
No. In fact, in the modern day, after Russian's dead, he's surrounded by beautiful women at all times and has no interest in them. It's the opposite of a kink thing.
What? It might not have been a kink thing for him, but for her.
Maybe. Yeah, Goblin Forge, you're right. Ryan shouldn't be laughing at this. It's emotional. You see, Goblin Forge is in the chat saying it's emotional. It's very emotional, Ryan. Fucking
You didn't tell me it was emotional, Dave. How am I supposed to know if you don't tell me it's emotional?
The baby died, Ryan. You just started laughing. Jesus.
But no,
Christ.
I mean, like, yeah. Personally, like, I don't know. It's too much. Like the toy subplot is like, if that wasn't there, because that drags on for so long. If that wasn't there, and it was like 40 episodes shorter, I think it would be a really nice, tight, dense, but still a really nice arc. I think the fact that it was there, it's just completely unnecessary. It was, I don't know, it was very indulgent storytelling that didn't need to be that indulgent.
It was. I actually completely agree with that, because originally Oda has said this in the past that he wasn't going to do that backstory. He's an editor. He told an editor. So one of his editors was like, "Why is this guy in a baby suit again?" And he told him, was like, "Well, you got to put that backstory in the thing." Did he actually have to? I don't know, but it is incredibly memorable for everyone. Yeah. Dofi's brother Karazan was adopted by Sengoku. Thank you, chat. It's a shame you guys didn't have as good an experience as me. To be fair, Tia, I still love this arc. I still really, really do. This is why it's in the top of the better than your fave series arc. Because if your fave series ain't One Piece, this is probably better than it. Like, it's still... I still think very highly of it. But... Sorry, Ali, what were you saying?
Yeah, I think... I don't know. Like, this arc...
Crew separate.
It's like this one and the next arc, the Zoe arc, right? I think the Zoe arc, we'll get to that in a second, but like the Zoe arc for me is right. It has an insane amount of really cool characters that have absolutely nothing to do. And this is kind of the opposite for me, where it's like there's just an insane amount of nothing characters that are in some of the most interesting parts of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really hard to be engaged in that with these characters that ultimately mean kind of nothing.
All right, I'm gonna try and do Zoe and then save the last few arcs for next time. Listen.
Yeah.
I feel like Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, and Dressrosa are 3 very big arcs. Reverie's tiny. We can rapid fire Reverie, and then we could just do Whole Cake, Wano, Egghead. Egghead would be pretty easy compared to most of them.
Yeah. Wano is really where it's gonna get.
Yeah, I think we can do the highlights of Whole Cake pretty easily. Wano.
Yeah. If you ignore everything unrelated to Sanji and Whole Cake, it's pretty easy to get through.
Yeah, Whole Cake is my fave. I'm so excited to have more time for it. Hell yeah. All right. There are a bunch of other little details that we skipped over in Dressrosa, but the main story is that we are now heading to Zoe. Zoe is where the rest of Law's crew is hanging out, because where the fuck have they been this whole time? Well, they've been on Zoe. What is Zoe? Zoe is Japanese for elephant. Zoe is a giant elephant. Okay? Right? Is that alright with you?
Yeah.
The giant elephant has an ancient city on its back. And this is the place where the minks live. The minks are all animal people. This is the furry arc. This is the furry arc. Okay, there's furry girls with boobies. Okay.
Yeah, this is separate from the people who have fruits that turn them into animals. These are just
Completely
like,
separate.
you know, actual furries.
These are actual
Yeah.
furry people, right? The minks and the ancient city are led by Duke Dogstorm. Did you told him about Chad NL going to the moon? We told him about the moon. We were like, yeah, he gets to the moon. He got to the moon. Duke Dogstorm and Cat Viper. Is that what they call him in English? It's Neko Mamushi and Inurashi. The cat and the dog, they are the lords of the day and the night. The cat is the night, the dog is the day. Don't know if you could have guessed that. And they basically rule over the kingdom, but only at those times of day. The kingdom was unfortunately recently under siege by the beast pirates and the fourth in command of the beast pirates, Jack the Drought. Jack is a giant dude, not actually a giant race, but he's a very large dude. That happens to be a fishman, and he ate the mammoth fruit. He can turn into an actual ass big woolly mammoth, and he's very, very strong and intimidating. Jack is also the first character we meet in the series who's introduced and has a 1 billion berry bounty. Just a billion. He's just worth a lot.
Nice.
And he's there asking all of the people in the town, just torturing them, using poison gas and everything. Poison gas comes up a lot. War crimes. Oda doesn't like war crimes. He's torturing the people, and he's like, "Where is the samurai? Where is the samurai?" And he's not even referring to the samurai that we're with. And they're demanding where to see a samurai, and they all swear, "I don't know any samurai. I swear to God." And this is when the Straw Hats turn up, the half of the crew that left Dressrosa early. They turn up, and they discover the poison gas. They help get people down. They help treat it's probably one of the Caesar's weapons, sure. They help treat the minks. They get them down off of like crosses they were being crucified on. I think was it Duke Dogstorm that lost a leg, or was an Inurashi, the cat Viper lost an arm or something like that. It's brutal. Shit was brutal. They got tortured. They got decapitated. All sorts of bad things happened. Maimed. The Straw Hats come help things out, and then the rest of the crew show up later after beating up Doflamingo, and they are also given a hero's welcome for mostly obvious reasons. But because of shenanigans, we do not see Kanjuro, Momonosuke, or Kiyomon, the samurai crew that we have picked up along the way. They have been left behind, which is good because obviously this place is just tortured because people were searching for a samurai that wasn't here. We meet all the people; they're all very, very friendly, and that's when. Why did they get together and argue? What happened for Cat Viper and Dogstorm to get together in the town square and argue? I can't remember. Is it because the little monkey said that pirates are there or some shit?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I can't really remember the details. Point is, they're supposed to be lords of the night and the day, and they got together at the same time in the same place, and they started bickering as they do. That's why they have to be lords of separate times. And when they are there, up shows Kiyomon the samurai, and he announces, "I am a samurai from the Wano country. I am linked to the Kozuki clan. I am here looking for my good friend Raizo. Please show me where he is." And Luffy and the crew at this point, they see the minks head towards them like a fucking crew on the march. And Luffy and the crew are like, "Are we gonna have to fight this out? Are they gonna attack us because we got the samurai with us?" And it gets really, really tense and all that. And that's when Dogstorm and Cat Viper just sit on the ground, stare Kiyomon in the eyes, and say, "We've been expecting you." And then they say, "Raizo is safe and sound. He's been here the whole goddamn time." And it's like the entire country knew, every single citizen there knew, and not a single one of them were willing to say a thing to the invading beast pirates, because no matter what, they'll never sell out a friend, Ryan. They'll never sell out a friend, Ryan. I forgot Sanji. What did Sanji do? Oh yeah, Brook dogs love him a lot. Yeah, Brook, because he's a skeleton, a lot of the minks want to chew his bones.
Nice.
Yeah, makes sense. That
Sorry,
is
be back
when.
in a sec.
Yep, sure. That is when the crew get taken to the whale tree. It's a big tree shaped like a whale. They can go inside it, and that is where we can see a giant crest of the Kozuki clan hanged up on the sky, which is the same one that Kiyomon has on his back. It's his samurai clan. And Raizo is tied up there. He's been tied up there all along. Gabon Beggy? I don't know what that means. Raizo has been tied up there. The people have been bringing him food, and they haven't even told him what's been happening. He doesn't even know the Beast Pirates invaded because they didn't want to make him feel guilty. Crazy shit. But also inside the whale tree, they have a red poneglyph. We've talked about the poneglyphs before. Robin needs to use them to get the true history right. But the red ones, there are only 4 red ones, and we are told that they are the, whether it's road or load poneglyphs, unclear. Because before we've mentioned load star is like a literal star that like guides the path, but then it's like road is like a path. Which translation doesn't really matter, you know. Point is, once you get the 4 red poneglyphs, they basically have different coordinates, and the center, the point where those coordinates cross over, that is supposed to be where the One Piece is. For the first time in the series, we now actually have like an idea of how to get to the One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
And here is the first of these 4 stones. Castle Devil Fruit user takes Sanji to marry. Oh yeah, we haven't finished. We haven't finished yet. We'll get there. Don't worry. Right, Capone Beiji. Right, I understand now. Thank you, Goblin. Yeah. So now we understand where we need to go to get the fac in One Piece. We've got a crew of samurai, and the crew is like, right. We should maybe go to Wano. Little Momonosuke, the little boy from the beginning, who was like not Kobe, the little boy who was like with Kiyomon, got saved. He turns into a pink dragon. Turns out to be the future, I want to say emperor shogun of Wano. He's like the rightful shogun, but his father was executed 20 years ago. Don't think time travel shenanigans have happened to have his father be executed 20 years ago, even though he's a small child now. And basically, they've left Wano in hopes of finding allies to help them overcome the people that are subjugating the land of Wano. And that just happens to be Kaido, the King of Beasts. Hey, that's the one that Law and Luffy got in the alliance to defeat, isn't it? So let's do it. Let's take down Kaido, and now we are going to be the ninja pirate mink samurai alliance. There's only one ninja in that alliance, but all the boys think ninjas are really cool. So ninja is at the front of the name of the alliance. The problem is that Sanji isn't here right now. Where the fuck is Sanji? Sanji got kidnapped by one of the rookies, by one of the worst generation rookies. Capone Beiji happened to be doing some work now for Big Mom. A lot of the rookies, it was either like, if you're a rookie, you're either going to be a warlord, or you're going to work for a 4 emperor, or you're going to fight the 4 emperors. And if you fight them, you're probably going to die, you know? So a lot of them got put into their roles. Beiji, one of the dons, we didn't really mention him much in Shibondi, but basically he's a castle man. Inside him is a castle. He can turn very, very large if he wants, but more importantly, people can like enter him through the drawbridge in his stomach, and when they do, they shrink down and go in, and they can just hang out in there. Yeah. So there's a scene where he's surrounded by Marines, and he's like, "You guys ain't got enough firepower," and his drawbridge opens, and like blokes on horses ride out, and when they get out, they like turn to full size.
Okay, man.
Listen, all right. Beiji shows up with some of Big Mom's pals. He comes over with shit. I forgot the name of the lion. With sunglasses with the turtle shell. Beiji shows up with the lion dude, and the lion is a mink, and therefore he is incredibly grateful to Sanji and the Straw Hats for what they've done to save Zoe, right, and the people. Yeah, I know, Ryan. It's a long fucking explanation. I know. He's very, very grateful. It begins with P. Yeah, it does. I ain't got it right now. It's not Pedro. He shows up. He's very, very grateful for the Straw Hats, but Capone Beige is like, this isn't good enough. We have been sent here to pick up Sanji. Specifically, no, not Shishilian. That's one of the dudes. I'm talking about the turtle shell guy, Big Mom's crew. You know, that lion. We need Sanji, specifically Sanji, because he is gonna get married, right? He's gonna get married. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're like, Sanji's father has pledged Sanji to get married to Big Mom's daughter. Peckums, that is correct. Great job, Taklu. So yeah, we discovered Sanji's getting married, Ollie.
Yep, he sure is.
Sanji's set to get married, and in the past, we have discovered that Sanji was born in the West Blue and raised in the East Blue, where the crew met him. But in the real world, that's kind of the equivalent of me saying that, like, I was raised in the Amazon rainforest before coming to England. If I said that to someone, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean you were raised in the Amazon rainforest? And in the One Piece world, because of the globe we've seen before, the red line means if you get from there to there, it's like you've been through some shit normal people don't go through. It doesn't make sense. So, you know, at the time we never questioned it, but now it's like, wait, who's Sanji's dad? What's going on here? Where did he come from? How did he get from West Blue to East Blue? But all we know is that he's due to be married. And something I should have mentioned before is that after Dressrosa, Sanji's bounty poster, all the bounty posters say dead or alive on them. Sanji's just gets changed to alive only. He's the only member of the crew to get that. So we assume that he is important for a reason we're not sure of right now. Is he a prince? Maybe. But now we make the decision. Half the crew is going to chase Sanji to Whole Cake Island to see what the fuck's going on there. And then the other half of the crew are going to head to Wano because a lot of shit needs to happen there too. Zoe is a brief in-between arc, but I like it a lot. I think it's below post-war, but I do kind of think it's better than Skypiea, honestly. Ollie?
Yeah, as I said, that's probably a good place for it. Like it's a arc that's filled with like super interesting characters, but the story itself is kind of bland.
Yeah, it's a setup arc. It's an in-between setup arc. It's no actual there's no actual villain. You can say Jack got introduced, but he's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely better than something like, you know, Thriller Bark.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, it's actually watchable. It's enjoyable to watch. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I think for me its biggest strength is that it, after 2.5 years, it wasn't Dressrosa anymore.
Yeah.
Which was a really big boon. And you know, it's a fairly like short arc. You know, like 30 episodes or so. Which helps. I mean, it goes into a much larger arc, but yeah, I think it's a good arc overall.
I enjoy Zoe. I remember Zoe is like I watched most of it. As I said, I swapped shortly after Dressrosa after being in the anime. But I watched most of it, and then like when I picked up the manga, I reread Zoe, and it gave me a new appreciation for it. Like some of those emotional moments, Ryan. I don't know if you knew it had any of those, but some of those emotional moments do, I feel, hit harder on the page than they actually did for me reading. You know? Right, Carrot joined. Carrot hangs out. Carrot is a rabbit girl, and we actually really, really like her. A lot of people wanted her to join the crew, but she didn't.
It did seem like she was going to, because she was just kind of present. More present than some members of the main crew for most of the next 2 arcs.
The missing J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories. I'm saying it's woke.
I'm not playing more of this.
It's woke. I knew it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where the One Piece tier list sits at today. I don't want to make an account. Okay. We gotta end somewhere. And hey, this is like not the longest One Piece stream we've done, Ryan. I'm sure you're happy to know that.
Yeah. I mean, given it's coming up on 4 o'clock, I wasn't going to sit around much longer.
We're finishing it this next time. We're fucking finishing it. We're finishing it. I think
Finish the story, Dave.
Again, Whole Cake Island. We are gonna like skip a lot of the extra characters because there's a lot. There's a lot. Ryan, have we talked you into reading One Piece yet?
Or at least play like One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, which goes through most of this story. Kind of.
Defcon's not woke. Factorio, woke. Yep, that's woke. Sims 4,
What the fuck
woke.
do you mean?
Cafe Rain, woke. Yep. Little Kiss Princess, woke. Yep. Pon Para, woke.
No, that's not woke. Wow, really?
Purgatory, not woke.
I reckon you can get the longest streak if you just click woke every single time. Eventually, you'll get
Jesus
enough.
Christ, this game's way too hard for me. All right, one more One Piece session. Tia, thank you so much for joining us. Goblin Ford, thank you. Taklu, thank you for joining us. I really, really appreciate you guys sticking with us. Having to take some deep breaths. We actually, like, I feel like the first few episodes of this, we actually covered most of the story beats in each arc, and now it's like we're struggling.
Yeah. Well, because they just get longer and longer.
Yeah.
Like even like Zoe, right? Like even though
Yeah.
it's one of the shorter arcs in the back half,
Yeah.
that still was going for like over half a year.
Yeah, and we did, of course, mention previously Django in One Piece, who we said was like Steve Tyler like meets moving over the stream. Steve Tyler like meets like Michael Jackson is what is intended to be like. But we also do get Diamante in I have to type in One Piece specifically. Apparently, we also get Diamante, who is an even more blatant Steven Tyler like.
Yeah.
Really blatant. And this, I'm just giving you an example of how many characters we have to skip over in Dressrosa. This guy killed Rebecca's mother. Like, we don't even have time to go into Rebecca's mother. Rebecca turned out to be the bikini chainmail girl. She turned out to be a royal princess, okay? Flag fruit. Yeah, he did have the flag fruit. He did. It was pretty cool. All right. Let's call it there. Once again, thank you so much, guys, for watching. One more of these streams, and it's banging over. There are about 20 other important characters. Yeah, I know. We didn't even mention that the fucking Grand Fleet got... Okay, final note. Ryan, at the end of Dressrosa, half the guys from the Colosseum just join Luffy's Grand Fleet. It's like, from now on, they're going to fly the Straw Hat flag, even when Luffy's not there. Like how Whitebeard had a bunch of extra guys with him. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. This project to explain One Piece to Ryan until he loves it didn't work. Alright then, guys. Thanks for watching. See you later.